हेलो ममता मैम।
Anju, can we start? I suppose our guests have come.
Yeah, it's 2 p.m.
I think we should start.
Yes, sir, we are starting. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Namaskar. I am Dr. Mamta, hosting the International Conference for Undergraduate Students of Electronics Iconics 2021. Respected Chief Guest, Sri Manoj Bhalla, Guest of Honor, Sri Anil Bhatia, Honorable Principal, Sri Aurobindo College, Dr. Vipin Agarwal, esteemed international judges, Dr. Sibi Technology Development, Dialogue, Semiconductor Incorporated, Santa Clara, USA. Dr. Rachna Sood, Senior Software Developer, San Diego Gas and Electric, USA. Distinguished in-house judges, Dr. R.P. Risheshwar, Associate Professor, Ms. Shobna Chandra, Associate Professor, Dr. Vanna Bhalla, Associate Professor, Dr. P.P. Singh, Associate Professor. The convener and teacher in charge, Department of Electronics, Dr. Manchu Pruthi, my fellow colleagues and participants from all over the world. On behalf of Electronics Department, Sri Aurobindo College, University of Delhi, India, a very warm welcome to the Iconics UG 2021. As we know, education is all about igniting young minds and enabling their fullest potential. So here we are, reaching out to all undergraduate students of the world in this pandemic and making best out of them through Iconics UG 2021. We commence our program with Saraswati Vanda, an ode to Goddess Saraswati.
या कुन्देन्दु तुषारहार धवळा या शुभ्रवस्त्रान्विता या वीणां वरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेत पद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युत शङ्कर प्रभृतिभिः देवैः सदा पूजिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापहा।
I request Ms. Pratibha Gupta to show us the glimpse of about our college and department through a short video. Over to you, Ms. Pratibha Gupta.
Thank you, Mamta.
It's not about the buildings, but about the people I was with. Presenting a note to our beloved college, where we spent the best of our times with strangers who became family.
अगला स्टेशन मालवीय नगर है।
Thank you, Dr. Mamta. Back to you.
Thank you, Ms. Pratibha Gupta, for the wonderful video. The Department of Electronics, Sri Aurobindo College, have left no stones unturned in launching this event. To give abridgment on it, I request Dr. Rinki Sharma to brief the conference.
Thank you, Dr. Mamta. I am Dr. Rinki Sharma. I'll be sharing a glimpse of the sequence of events behind Iconics UG 2021. Our department, under the able guidance of our principal, Dr. Vipin Agarwal, initiated the whole idea of calling innovative works from undergraduate students in the month of October last year. After the initial preparations, we started our registration process in the month of November in 2020. That was the time when we all were stuck at our homes due to the pandemic. Our main aim was to reach out to maximum number of undergraduate students and give them a platform and opportunity to showcase their talents. To reach this objective, our team has worked tirelessly for around 4 months. We sent the information regarding the conference and the registration link across the world to around 50 countries. In this process, we have sent more than 5,000 emails across all parts of the globe. We are happy to announce that the response was great. We got submissions from many states of India as well as from abroad. We have a total of 43 submissions. From India, our participants spread across many states, including Kashmir, Uttar Pradesh, Jharkhand, Bihar, Rajasthan, Haryana, Assam, Uttarakhand, West Bengal, and Delhi. In addition to this, we have entries from outside India as well. They are from Bhutan, Malaysia, and Zimbabwe. We are really overwhelmed by the number of responses. After closing the registrations, the papers were scrutinized by our international and in-house panel of judges to select the top 15 papers. The criteria for the selection was main idea presented, depth of knowledge, relevance, and its benefit to the society. Recommendations of both national and international judges were reconciled and a common ground was prepared to select the top 15. These top 15 papers will be presented today. We hope that the whole idea and effort put in by our team will help each one of the students who participated and are present here to gain something. I wish good luck to all of you for your future. So let us proceed further into the event. I hand over the stage back to our host. Over to you, Dr. Mamta.
Thank you, Dr. Rinki Sharma. I request our Honorable Principal, Dr. Vipin Agarwal, to give an opening address on this occasion.
Good afternoon to all the participants. At the outset, I would like to thank Department of Electronics to make me a part of this international conference. I'm really honored and humbled to be part of this conference. Chief guest of today's program, Shri Manoj Bhalla ji, with whom I have some personal relations, special personal relations. I know wherever he has worked, he has excelled in every field of life, whether in corporate world, in family life, and whichever the job that has been assigned to him, he has always done his best in different capacities. I know he has 30 years of corporate experience. He has been the topper of IIT Delhi. He has been the topper of FMS Delhi University, from where he did his MBA. And in the corporate life also, he has served at the top level in Citibank, GE Capital, DCB Bank, and various other institutions. And as a personal human being also, he's a nice, humble person. His simplicity always impresses me. And his presence today in this webinar, I'm sure, in this international conference, will motivate our students to follow his footsteps and to like him, that the way he has achieved great heights in life, our students would like to follow him. So thank you, Dr. Shri Manoj ji, for being the part of this international conference. Our other important guest for this program is Shri Anil Bhatia ji. Anil Bhatia ji has also served in various capacity, and presently he is consultant with the Ministry of Commerce. My thanks are due on behalf of the college, on behalf of the Department of Electronics, for being a part of this program. My thanks are also due to our two international judges, Dr. CB and Dr. Rachana Sood. Please forgive me, I don't have much knowledge about these two people, but I'm sure their presence itself tells their interest in the academics, interest with the students, interest with the teaching faculty. Sparing their valuable time itself speaks volumes about their personality. So I'm really thankful to all these guests and the way Dr. Mamta and Dr. Rinki was telling, we have been working hard for this program. 42 papers in total were being received by the college. Out of that, the scrutiny was being made and 15 papers have been selected. So I would like to congratulate Department of Electronics also for organizing this program. And I'm sure this program will go a long way for the students, the current batch of the college. They will get motivation, the research work that will be presented today, that will be motivate our student to do good research in the field of electronics. Normally, when we organize these seminars, webinars, conferences, we organize for teachers. That is, the teachers present their papers and their papers are evaluated. Probably for the first time at this level, we are organizing this type of international conference for the students. That students will present their paper, a student will showcase their talent, and conducting this program itself will motivate the students to do some good research. So for that, my thanks are due and my congratulations are due to the Department of Electronics. I can say with pride that Department of Electronics of this college is one of the premium department of this college, and I always boast of Department of Electronics in every wherever I go. Whenever people ask me which are your premium departments, and I always name one of the department as Department of Electronics. My thanks are due once again. Thanks to Manoj ji, thanks to Bhatia ji, thanks to our two international judges, Dr. Anil Bhatia ji, Dr. CB and Dr. Rachna Sood for being a part of this program and sparing your valuable time. Thank you very much. I know that this is not the right time to give a big lecture, so I'm restricting myself, and I am here only to thank our guests and our judges. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your wishes. Thank you for your enriching and inspiring words. This occasion is graced by the presence of our esteemed chief guest, Sri Manoj Bhalla. He has graduated in mechanical engineering from IIT Delhi. He completed his post-graduation in management from FMS University of Delhi. He has over 30 years of experience in financial service, in leading institutions, in key strategic leadership roles. In GE Capital, he led a treasury team of 50 professionals serving India and Europe. He has spent 2 years of Indian School of Business, Hyderabad, spearheading and fundraising initiatives and supporting the strategic plans of the school. Today, he's here to share his experiences and encourage the students. Thank you, sir, for taking out time and being here for this international conference. I request our chief guest, Sri Manoj Bhalla, to address on this occasion.
Thank you, Dr. Mamta, respected principal, sir, members of the eminent jury, members of the faculty, and dear participants. It's a pleasure and a privilege to join you today for this international seminar. We are in the midst of difficult times. This pandemic certainly has impacted all of us adversely and psychologically. It was, however, very heartening to note some of the new initiatives and the outreach that the college has undertaken to keep students and faculty engaged. You have truly made a great beginning and extracted a great positive outcome out of a challenge, which is always a wonderful thing. I note with great happiness the number of seminars, webinars, and other modes of interaction that you've encouraged and supported. I was trying to give thought to what would be the most appropriate thing to share with all participants today. And I'd like to leave you with one theme and 3 building blocks. The essential thought that I'd like to leave all of you with is the fact that technology is a great positive force of change for society. There is no greater element of truth in the fact that we owe our great progress to the huge advent and development of technology over the years. I know that you will hear from time to time a few negatives around how technology has impacted our lives, about its impact on the environment, on change, the challenge that it poses to established and traditional modes of living and livelihood. While all of those are true, it is undoubtable that our lives today are significantly better than those of our forefathers. And it is with great confidence that we can look forward to the fact that the lives of our children will be much better. And if there is one cause that we can owe that development to, it is technology. I'm not only referring to computers or information technology, but the whole development of technology since time immemorial. Nothing has had a greater impact on our health, our way of living, our affluence, our connectiveness, our knowledge than technology itself. And so all of you are very lucky to be part of this wonderful endeavor that is trying to change and to improve the world. And I would encourage you to pursue it with all dedication and passion. As you do so, I would like to draw your attention to three elements which I believe are the fundamental building blocks of good technical development. The first is imagination. It all starts with the idea that something can be different from what it seems, that there is a reason to try and understand what is behind all that we perceive and to provide an adequate explanation and to dream about changing and to solving the big problems that we all encounter. You would perhaps know that the leading industrialists, the leading champions of industry have laid great store to the role that innovation has played in their careers and in the building of their big companies. In fact, so that even as recently when Jeff Bezos stepped down as the CEO of the wonderfully successful company that he created, Amazon, his last words to his team was, "It is always day one." He was reflecting back on the fact that the challenges that the company faced on its first day of existence continue to be the driving force for its evolution and its development today. And so, do not ever try and restrain that imagination. Give it a free flow. Remember, let curiosity be the compass of your discovery. The second thing that I would like to draw your attention to is the fact that please do not fear failure. Failure is the stepping stone to success. There have been so many highly successful people that failed to get even an elementary education. Some big names come to mind. Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs never even completed their basic bachelor degrees, and yet went on to build great institutions based on tremendous knowledge and tremendous expertise. So please take every element of failure as a stepping stone. It's the extent to which you learn from it and you grow from it that will be the bedrock of your success. And so I'm sure you will all greatly succeed, but for all those small challenges and failures that you face in life, please do not lose hope, learn from them and grow from them to greater and greater strength. And the last thing I'd like to draw your attention to is the idea of passion. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. In fact, if there has been one common theme behind all the successful men and women in the world, it's been their great passion for what they do. Please bring that to every endeavor in your life, to your studies, to your engagements, to your relationships, to your learning. That is what will drive each of you to greater success. We are lucky in the sense that technology is poised today to change our world tremendously. We have seen the results of great change over our lives, but I'm sure there is much more to come. And each one of you, I'm sure, are going to be an important element in that change. Dedicate yourself to it, enjoy it, and I am sure great success will follow you. I would like to close by thanking you for inviting me to be part of this program today, of wishing each one of you great luck and great success, and of course, good luck for your ongoing participation and presentations that will follow. Once again, congratulations to the department and to the college for initiating and pursuing and following through with such wonderful initiatives. These certainly add to the wonderful academic input that you receive from your faculty, and I'm sure will go a great way in making your education more comprehensive. Once again, thank you and good luck for your progress and your presentations today.
Thank you, Manojji. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for the wishes. Thank you, enthralling and the wise words. I'm sure the students are encouraged to ameliorate and innovate in field of technology for the society. Big applause for our esteemed chief guest, Shri Manoj Bhalla. Our guest of honor, Shri Anil Bhatia, has done his master's in public procurement management from ITC of United Nations, Turin, Italy. He retired as Director of from Commerce and Industry. Being an ISS cadre officer, he has wide experience in DGS and D and Ministry of Health. Currently is a consultant in Department for Promotion of Internal Trade and Industry, Ministry of Commerce and Industries, which is a part of Atmanirbhar Abhiyan of the Government of India. I now request guest of honor, Shri Anil Bhatia, to say a few words.
Good noon, everyone. I hope I am hearable.
Yes, sir.
Honorable Chief Guest, Shri Manoj Bhalla, Principal, Dr. Vipin Agarwal, International Judges, House Judges, Convener, Dr. Manju Pruthi, Faculty, Students of Shri Aurobindo College. So, I'm Anil Bhatia. I convey my thanks for inviting me to Iconix UG. I came to know that undergraduate students of electronics have submitted their papers. I would like to bring to their notice the current environment in India is very encouraging for innovation, especially in the field of electronics, for new entrepreneurs who wish to open their own business, and also for getting employment in reputed MNCs in our country. Various initiatives have been taken by Government of India, especially after emergence of COVID-19, to promote self-reliant India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, promote Make in India, introducing purchase preferences to Indian suppliers over foreign suppliers against government procurements for enhancing employment. So I will just list out some of the initiatives taken by Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade. In abbreviation, it is called DPIIT, to which I belong. Startup India. It is an initiative of Government of India announced by Honorable Prime Minister on 15th August 2015 in his speech at Red Fort. It focuses on simplification and hand-holding young entrepreneurs in the field of innovation like you to start your own business. As you have done research activities, it will help you to come up with some innovation in the field of electronics and open up your startups. The environment for startups have been made very conducive. Ease of doing business. Efforts are being made to create an environment in doing business in our country by removing all hurdles. The rank of ease of doing business of India is continuously and drastically improving. PLI scheme, a scheme that aims to give companies incentives on incremental sale for certain products manufactured in India. Such products include electronics products. The scheme also invites foreign companies to set up units in India. However, it also aims to encourage local companies to set up or expand existing manufacturing units. So as a result, there will be setup of large scale electronic manufacturing in India, leading to employment generation and self-reliant India, Atmanirbhar Bharat. So a good opportunity for you all for getting employed in reputed MNC in India. Further, Government of India has taken various initiatives by bringing rules for government purchases like price preference of 20% to local suppliers over lowest foreign suppliers, mandatory procuring up to rupees 200 crore requirement from only Indian suppliers. The above initiative of Government of India will encourage setting up of more and more manufacturing units in India, resulting in generation of employment apart from Atmanirbhar Bharat, increasing GDP and foreign reserves. In the end, I want to say that the graduates, students of electronics who have submitted their paper have bright future in our country, India. My best wishes to all of you. I again convey my thanks to all the concerned of Sri Aurobindo College for inviting me to Iconics UG. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your wishes. Thank you for your emboldened and inspiring words. I request our international judge, Dr. Sibbi Thruthil, to address the conference.
Hello.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hello and good afternoon to everyone from California. It is a bit too late here, so in case I try to be awake as much as possible, in case I doze off in between, please excuse me for that. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers of Iconics UG for this wonderful opportunity to be part of this event and be one of the judges. I would like to extend my thanks to the principal of Sri Aurobindo College, Dr. Vipin Agarwal, as well as my former colleague and friend, Dr. Manju Pruthi. I also take this opportunity to thank the chief guest, Sri Manoj Bhalla, guest of honor, Sri Anil Bhatia, all the in-house panel of judges, faculty members, and students of Aurobindo College. It is an honor and privilege to be associated with this international conference for undergraduate students in electronics. With my background in electronics and being an alumni of Delhi University, it gives me great pleasure to contribute to this event. The organizers of this event, I have to say, has done a stellar job in making this a successful one. Looking at the participation from various institutes and the quality of the submissions, I'm excited about the prospects of the next generation of electronic professionals who are coming up. And students, your enthusiasm, your hard work, your dedication to this field of study, willingness to experiment and drive innovation, all of these are central to the advancement of technology in the coming years through multitude of applications across industries. I encourage you to keep striving for new innovations, to keep learning and maintain connections and foster learning between your peers, seniors, and juniors. As you know, your college time is pretty short, but these relationships and the interactions that you gain or attain during this period of college life, both professional as well as personal, can last a lifetime. Anything about learning is being curious, ask questions, always look for new ideas, never hesitate to or never be afraid to put those ideas into practice. As our chief guest mentioned, imagination and dream is key to any kind of innovations. These are key to your success as well. So I encourage you to think, imagine, and never be afraid of bringing up ideas into practice. I would like to thank all the student participants who submitted their ideas. There were very quality and very interesting ideas in the ones that I have reviewed. Most of them I have seen. It is very interesting to see the young students, especially in the undergraduate level, coming up with very innovative ideas and submitting them in the conference. Also, the participation itself across India as well as outside of India tells how successful this event is. I have to give kudos to the organizers that it has been a wonderful event that they have organized. Also, the participation and from the various institutes as well as from India and abroad, it shows and the ideas shows that they are the hallmark of success to this conference and the stepping stone to advancement of electronic technologies in the future. So in the end, I just wanted to give best wishes to all the participants, and I wish them success in their life and in their career going forward. Life or learning is a lifelong process and it never stops. You know, college life and your education in college is just a door to open that lifelong learning. I hope you all thrive in this electronics or the career that you may choose. And I wish you all success. Best wishes to all the participants and a warm hello to all the attendees. And thank you all. Thank you for the wonderful opportunity to be a part of this. And I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the wishes and the inspirit. I request our international judge, Dr. Rachna Sood, to address the conference.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's my privilege to have been invited to be a part of Iconics UT. I would really want to thank Dr. Vipin Agarwal for his leadership and would like to extend my sincere appreciation to my fellow judges who have really worked very hard to make this conference a success. Hats off to Dr. Manju Pruthi and Dr. Hats off to Dr. Manju Pruthi and Dr. Mamta Sharma for all the hard work. Last but not the least, my sincere gratitude to all the students who have participated. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to get a glimpse of your innovative mindsets through your papers. I wish you all good luck for your future endeavors. Thank you very much. Were you able to hear me?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for the wishes and the encouragement. I request convener, Department of Electronics, Dr. Manju Pruthi, Associate Professor, to address the conference. Over to you, ma'am. Manju ma'am, please unmute.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please. Okay. Thanks, Mamta. Respected principal, Chief Guest Shri Manoj Bhalla, Guest of Honor Shri Anil Bhatia, all the judges, colleagues, and my dear students. There is one person who has been driving all of us to test our limits and create new horizon, and that's our principal, Dr. Vipin Agarwal. I want all of you to give him a big applause. As you all must be knowing, this international conference is probably the first of its kind, which aims at encouraging undergraduate students of electronics to have an inclination towards innovation and a research mindset. There is only one thing stronger than all the enemies of the world, and that is an idea whose time has come. It needs a lot of courage to think about an idea without knowing where it will get you into. All of you have shown courage by participating in this conference, and I am proud of you. Innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. Research and innovation have never been the cup of tea for undergraduate students. So without knowing, you have entered an uncharted territory. I would like to tell all of you that you have just changed the world. The true sense of intelligence is not knowledge, but imagination. I'm sure that your mentors must be amused on the very idea of undergraduate students participating in an international conference. The whole idea behind this initiative was to allow the students to interact with the world and start thinking out of the box. My special thanks to Shri Manoj Bhalla, who kindly accepted the invitation to grace the event. Thank you so much, sir, for motivating our students. I also want to thank Shri Anil Bhatia for giving insight into the government initiative and encouraging our students. Thank you is a very small word for the favor bestowed upon us by few names, which I am going to take. First of all, Dr. CB and Dr. Rachna for agreeing to be the international judges and sparing their valuable time in the evaluation of the papers. And lastly, my spiritual support and the guiding light, and that's my own colleague who have accepted the role of in-house panel of judges. These are the people who are holding my roots strong and deep. There is no good idea that cannot be improved on. All the students who may not be presenting their papers in this conference should not get disheartened. Nothing can undermine the strength of their idea. They just have to improve and build on further. I'm sure they will also reach new heights. With these words, I thank you all for responding to our call and submitting your ideas with whatever best you could think of. I now change over to Dr. Mamta, who will take you further. Thanks a lot and best of luck.
Thank you, ma'am, for the encouragement and in the insight. In the coming session, top 15 papers selected by our esteemed judges will be presented by the students. I request Dr. Anita Kumari to take up this session with the in-house panel of judges.
Thank you, Dr. Mamta Sharma. Good afternoon, everyone present over here. I am Dr. Anita Swankar, hosting the paper presentation session in the presence of our skillful expert judges. I would like to welcome you all here today in Iconics UG 2021. Now, let's get started with the most awaited part of the auspicious conference, paper presentation by the undergraduate students from different parts of the globe. My heartfelt congratulations to the selected candidates. If I could have your attention, please, I would like to make few general instructions for the students. Number 1, only the top 15 selected students will be called by their names and the list will be in alphabetical order. Number 2, the moment your name is announced, you will have to unmute yourself and switch on your cameras or present your screen. Number 3, the total time allotted for presenting one paper is 5 minutes. In case of more than one presenter, the time may be divided among them. Fourth, our esteemed judges may ask questions as and when required. Number 5, you all are requested to identify a calm and quiet place to make sure to have a stable network connection prior to presenting your work. Number 6, all the paper presenters need to start with a very brief introduction about themselves. So this is all about the instructions. Elon Musk once said, and I quote, "I think it is possible for ordinary people to choose to be extraordinary." So now I would like to call top 15 selected students to show their extraordinary work. I request for a huge round of applause for the top 15 selected students. Thank you so much. Let's now begin with our first team consisting of Ahmed Shafiq Shurak, Asif Amini, Nurul Huda Abd Rahman, and Zulfikar Asper. Next, you can present your work. Before that, just for preparation, the next student on roll is David Mukeg. David, please be prepared. You are the next one. Yes, Ahmed Shafiq, please, you can go ahead with your work.
Okay, should I share screen now?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So I guess my friend could start.
Hello everyone. Good afternoon. Okay. We are from University Technology Malaysia, which the Department of Electronic. So our research, which is a PLC compiler for PLC on FPGA. So our team member consists of Ahmad Shafiq Shurak, Ashraf Aminin, Nurul Huda, and our supervisor, which is Dr. Zulfikar bin Asper. So we are in a program of 4 scales in the 4th year. And this is our division, which is electronic and computer engineering. Okay, so our research is PLC compiler, which is a computer software that translates certain programming language into machine code to program the PLC. Until today, PLC are being used widely in many industries for automation process. And the most common language to program the PLC is ladder logic diagram, which resembles schematic diagrams. However, ladder logic diagram is not sufficient to program PLC since design are getting bigger, more complex, and more features. So thus, signal interpreted Petri net is used to develop a complex system. Next. Okay, so this is our objective of our research. Is to first to develop a user-friendly graphical user interface (GUI) of LLD and SIPN compiler, and the second is to develop a compiler that able to handle data processing activities such as a PWM, a comparator, timer, and counter. And the third is to develop a compiler that has an ability to convert from LLD to SIPN and vice versa. Okay. So this is our PLC operation, which consists of 3 parts, which is a front end, intermediate, and back end. So the front end consists of design, which is the design entry, SIPN model, and the LLD model. And then the lexical analysis and syntax analysis will work together to find any errors in the designs. And then context handling will analyze the design entry. And then the front end will generate a mnemonic code. So for the intermediate part is the intermediate code itself, and the back end whereas the various files, which is a tabureid, LRC1, LRC2 will be generated, and then the machine code will be generated for the specific PLC, which is a Swift PLC DE0 Nano. Okay, so this is our theoretical backup, which is the Boolean equation of the LLD diagram. So we can see here that if the element is in a series, which is we can see from the first columns, that was the elements of normally closed and normally open is in a series, and it is in a logical AND. And we can see from the second column, if the elements in parallel, it is a logical OR. Okay, next please. Okay, so for our compiler, both LLD and SIPN compiler we produce the same intermediate code, which is a Boolean expression. So to require this conversion, both compiler need to produce same intermediate code. So we can see from here that from the Boolean expression, SIPN and LLD model can be drawn, where we can see a logical AND, a logical OR, a logical AND output, a logical OR output, a time delay, and loop can be drawn. Can be drawn as SIPN model and LLD model. Okay, next please. Okay, next will be presented by Shafiq Suraka.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ashraf. So this is the backend compiler. Backend compiler which process the front end, which process the high-level language to a specific machine code. So it started from the compiler will scan the drawing ladder logic diagram at the front end, and then the system will write the data into 4 types of control signal, which is AE, OE, incel, and CO. And then the next step is, which is ladder step unit, will recognize the drawing LLD element at the front end, whether it is normally open or normally closed. And then it will convert into ladder run configurator, or what we call is LRC, which consists of four types of output files. The first file is RAM64.1, RAM64.2, RAM32, and RAM2. And then after that, it will generate for 2 other files. The first file is RAM64.1 and RAM64.2, which RAM64.1 consists of NCO and NCL and incel control signal. RAM64.2 consists of AE and OE control signal. And then the other file is RAM32 and RAM2, which function is to store the address of the
Sorry
input.
to interrupt you. The total time allotted to you is 5 minutes. So
Okay.
I would like to remind you. Please go ahead.
Okay. The RAM32 to store address, input, relay, counter, timer, clock, and first scan. And RAM2 to store the output address. Finally, the generated machine code will output to the real FPGA port, which is PLC DE0 Nano. Okay, this is the full operation from the front end to the back end. So the result is, as I mentioned before, it will produce two output files. So the first, we can see the first file consists of in-cell and NCO control signal, and the second file consists of OE and AE control signal. So for the generated machine code, we also can run on different Windows operating system, which is Windows XP, Windows 7, Windows 8, and Windows 10. After that, we will upload to the real FPGA board. As a conclusion, LLD or SIPN programs need to PLC compiler to compile for a specific PLC processor on FPGA to make any application running in good performance. The front-end compiler will generate intermediate code. The back-end compiler configured into 4 .mif files, which are table read, RAM32, table write, RAM2, LRC1, RAM64.1, and LRC2, RAM64.2. And then the compiler will test it on the real FPGA board. So the beneficial impact is the user can choose to use LLD or SIPN compiler to program the PLC. The compiler will generate the Boolean equation from LLD to SIPN models. The compiler able to convert LLD to SIPN and SIPN to LLD. And then finally, the compiler able to view the current status of simulation. So thank you.
Thank you, Shafiq and Shafiq and Ashraf. Now our honorable judges may ask question, if any. I request our honorable judges if anything could be asked.
Can I ask?
Yes.
Can you tell us what are the applications which require SIPM and which requires only LLD, and the application which require both LLD and SIPM?
Okay, the application mostly like for the PLC program, programmable logic controller program. So the user can program the PLC by using the ladder logic diagram programming, or the user can use SIPN programming language to program the PLC.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Thank you, judges, and thank you to the whole team. And we hope this project brings revolution in PLC compiler-based FPGA and semiconductor devices. Now, let's move on to the next student on roll, David Muke. And I would like to say Isha Goel and Shreya Sharath to be prepared. David Muke, you can go ahead with your presentation.
Okay, ma'am.
And I request all of you to please be in the time limit, 5 minutes.
Greetings to you all. My name is David Mukege, a current Part 5 student studying electronic engineering at the National University of Science and Technology. I shall take this opportunity to present to you my project entitled Industry 4.0 Mine Safety Control and Monitoring System in Underground Mines. Without further ado, let us dive into the project. This must not happen in our mines. These are miners working in a confined space. There is danger of lack of oxygen that can cause suffocation due to poisonous gases and fumes that occur underground. also another possible risk that can happen is fall of ground. We are seeing these miners are trying to balance up the rocks, but there is nothing to actually tell them the stability of the surface they are working on. This was taken from a link shown down below. This is another diagram showing a graph showing the statistics of the current of the accidents in mines happening all over the world. We are seeing that this graph is not coming to is not decreasing, is not coming to a level where accidents are below 1,000. So this provokes us to design much better systems that are based on Industry 4.0 technology, which involves innovation, which incorporates of IoT, real data monitoring, and also machine learning. Without further ado, let me dive into the introduction. The principal objective of this project is to design an electronic system that can be used to enhance safety in underground mines. Mine safety is of paramount importance since most mining activities can cause great harm to the human beings and their environment. Therefore, by introducing Industry 4.0 technology in the design of safety control and monitoring systems, this will help mines in achieve zero harm at the workplace. I'll achieve this by following objectives: designing and developing a gas monitoring system that uploads real-time data to a database so as to monitor the gas levels underground. We also design a fire detection system that alerts the relevant authorities of a fire that has occurred, and also is able to is linked to a fire switch, to a fire extinguishing circuit that will extinguish the fire automatically whenever a fire is detected. To develop also a system that alerts workers of bed hangings by introducing some vibration and motion vibration sensors to detect weak rocks, so as to avoid all accidents related to bed hangings. To design a water-free ventilation system to ensure the health and health of employees underground by providing them clean, dry air. To design an IoT-based camera monitoring system to monitor all the events occurring underground, since some miners tend to do some unsafe work acts. So placing a camera underground and monitoring it remotely from a control room will help monitor those unsafe work acts and make sure that there is no one who is performing unsafe work activities, so as to achieve our aim of zero harm. To develop a database server that records that records alert messages that stores and shows records of alert messages sent by the entire system. Then the last is to build up the entire system and carry out necessary tests. The beneficial impact of this project is that due to the data logging, there is rapid communication and data logging to the control room whenever an anomaly occurs. There is also a fire detection and extinguishing circuit that raises a quick alert so as to extinguish fire. These are the most common accidents that occur underground. Then the third beneficial impact is for remote camera monitoring. It reduces the chances of miners performing unsafe work practices because they will be quickly identified from the control room and dealt with accordingly. To also, the other benefit is also to automatically regulate the amount of compressed air and breathing air needed underground. Since underground, the air is mostly not conducive for human health system. The other beneficial impact is for detecting possible fall of ground, and raise alerts to detect toxic gases and raise quick alerts. The technology behind this project, this is the block diagram of the entire system. All the systems, that the gas level monitoring system, the wireless camera monitoring, the shock from vibration detector sensor, wireless transmission system to transmit data to the web application, oxygen level detection system, underground compressed air system, and the fire detection system will be linked to a controller which will be responsible for communicating with these things. And then, to be more precise, the water-free compressed air system is going to be designed according to the following breakdown plan. The compressed air comes from the compressors into the inlet valve, and then a filter regulator regulates, it removes all the moisture, and then an AMG water separator removes 99% of the water moisture into of the moisture from the compressed air system to provide a water-free compressed air line. The compressed air line is also able to regulate the amount of air needed underground will be linked to a gas monitoring system, so that whenever the gas levels or carbon monoxide gas levels increase, the compressed air system will increase the amount of oxygen pumped into the system. Then the software design, we're going to start the HTML page. We're going to write an HTML page using CSS and HTML, which will be linked to my SQL database, which takes data from underground monitoring sensors and uploads it to a database that is online.
You are requested to wind up fast.
And in conclusion, by employing this new industrial revolution that focuses heavily on interconnectivity, automation, and real-time data logging into mine safety systems, this will greatly help in reduction of underground mine-related accidents, thereby making mines a safer working environment for workers in the mining sector. With this, zero harm is possible. I thank you all for listening.
Thank you, David. I request our judges to ask questions, if any.
I have a question. David?
Yes.
This was
Yes, ma'am.
It's a very good idea, but I think a lot of work has already been done for such things. Did you do a survey of existing work done for safety of miners along the same lines?
Yes, according to my research, I did a research and saw that in terms of safety or of safety procedures underground, some reputable mines, like in our country, there's Mimosa Mining Company. Their safety systems are based. They've got safety, health, and environment personnel that will be roaming underground to see whether the workers will be performing safe work practices. But this can be all integrated to be monitored into one control. It is better to monitor these people from a remote location, and also on the issue of sensors detecting gases. The systems that are there, they just detect gases and raise alarms, but they do not actually regulate the amount of air in order to dilute those toxic gases underground. As of my project, I've included a compressed air system that regulates the amount of air that is needed underground, which will be able to eradicate or dilute those toxic gases that have occurred. And also on the fire detection system, some systems they just alert. According to my research, Mimosa Mining Company has got a system that just detects the fire, and then it raises an alert, but there are no systems that actually extinguish the fire automatically whenever a fire is detected, and also provide real-time data to a control room for local authorities to take quick action.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, judges. Thank you, David. We hope this project helped in the reduction of underground mine-related accidents. So next group coming up to share the screen space consists of Isha Goel and Shreya Sharath. Isha Goel and Shreya Sharath. And the next on roll is Harsh Goel. Please be prepared. Yes, Isha Goel, you can present your work now.
I hope a very good afternoon to one and all present here. Today, I, Isha Goyal, I'm here to present my work on CPW Fed wearable tattoo antenna, which is designed for 2.4 gigahertz applications. I'm currently a second year student of electronics and communication engineering at Shivnagara University. Currently pursuing my research project under Dr. Abdul Qadir at my college. So the following are the contents of the presentation. We'll be walking through all these things. Starting with the introduction, as we all know, due to the advent of wearable devices, the integration of devices with the body has become really common. Like nowadays we have fit bands, we have smart watches, every gadget is now personally connected to us. So due to that, we need antennas which are much more flexible, so that there is no hindrance with the parameters, and the gadget and the device functions properly. So we propose an antenna which is flexible, because it will be fabricated on transparency sheet, and the transparency sheet will provide it extra strength, and it will avoid any breaking or hindrance in the parameters. As we propose a CPW fed antenna, we start by understanding what do we actually mean by CPW feed. Basically, in a CPW feed, the ground planes and the feed line, as we can see over here, both of these things are present on the same layer. That is, they are fabricated above the substrate. So the advantages of using a CPW fed antenna, that they offer a wider bandwidth, lower radiation loss, better impedance matching. They offer less dispersion, and because the ground and feed are present on the same layer, so they are comparatively easy to fabricate and test. The proposed antenna design is as shown over here. Basically, we have a rectangular patch with a semicircular notch in it. And these are the parameters, the value of parameters which we have used. Also, the antenna, all the results we have proposed and shown, basically, they are when the antenna is simulated on the body. In body, we have considered 3 layers: skin, fat, and muscle. And the height of skin is taken to be 2 mm, fat as 5 mm, and muscle as 10 mm. Now, one of the questions which comes to our mind upon seeing this design, that why do we have a notch over here? Basically, the notch, it helps us in reducing the overall size of the antenna. It offered us a better bandwidth and a simpler design. On the left side of the screen, we can see over here, these are the results. This is basically the graph of the S11 parameter with the frequency. S11 parameters basically tells us about how much of the input power is actually reflected. So we can see that the graph in the orange, it is when antenna is simulated with body, and this gray one is the antenna when antenna is for a basic CPW feed, when there was no notch. So we can see a drastic difference in the results. Now, moving on, we have done 2 parametric studies. First was about studying the effect of the fat height on the resonant frequency. We experimented with 3 fat heights. First, we considered a fat of 3 mm, 5 mm, and 10 mm. The results are presented. For 3 mm fat, the resonant frequency came out to be 2.92. For 5 mm, it came out to be 2.45. And for 10 mm, it came out to be 1.3 gigahertz. So as it is evident that as we were increasing the height of fat, the resonant frequency was actually decreasing, and the S11 parameter was not improving very much. The second parametric study which was done was the effect of notch radius on the resonant frequency. Again, we took 3 simple results. One, when the radius was 3 mm, 5 mm, and 10 mm. For 3 mm, the resonant frequency came out to be 2.5. For 5 mm, it came out to be 2.45. And for 10 mm, it came out to be 2.3. Because the target frequency was for us was 2.4, and the S11 was better at 2.45. So finally, we proposed the antenna which had the notch of the radius as 5 mm. The results are presented over here. Next.
I request the students to please stick to the time.
Yeah. So next, this is the final results. The return loss bandwidth without body for the antenna was 464 megahertz, and with body, it came out to be 46 megahertz. The radiation characteristics of the antenna are as shown. Then moving on to the gain and directivity, as we can see, the gain of the antenna is 2.12 dB, and the directivity is 3.414 dBi. Now this is the animation of the surface current. It is evident that the surface current is maximum at the center. One peculiar feature which notch offered us was that, as you can see, the notch is turning red again and again. The notch actually helped us in the fine tuning of the resonant frequency. The beneficial impacts and applications. The proposed antenna can be used in Bluetooth applications, in telecommunication sectors, in domestic wireless networks, and in RFID applications. Finally, the conclusion. Basically, a CPW-fed antenna is presented, which works as 2.4 gigahertz. It has a compact size. It is flexible because the substrate is transparency sheet. It is cheap and it requires less time for fabrication. The bandwidth, return loss bandwidth is 464 megahertz without body, and 46 megahertz with body, and it can be used for Bluetooth applications because it realizes band of 2.35 to 2.44 gigahertz. These are the references which we have used. That's all from our side. Thank you.
Thank you, Isha. Now our esteemed judges may ask questions, if any.
Yeah. What difference will it for fat of as compared to substrate?
Ma'am, can you please repeat your question?
My question is, what difference will it make for a fat person who is having more thickness of fat as compared to substrate?
Ma'am, then we can we can adjust the parameters, or we can, as we have studied in the by changing the parameters, we can actually or either reduce the radius of the notch or increase it to again make it work for 2.4 gigahertz applications, because we are targeting a frequency of 2.4 gigahertz.
Okay, thank you, Isha.
Thank you, ma'am.
One question which I think you should be able to answer, Isha. Why did you choose 2.4 gigahertz?
Ma'am, the main reason was, there were two main reasons. First, 2.4 gigahertz has a larger range and it offers a larger range. The second reason was, at a lower frequency, the size of the antenna is large. So because we are stuck at our homes, so the main challenge before us was to fabricate, because we have to do everything at our home. We don't have access to labs. So it's actually easier for us to make a larger antenna. If we target the 5 gigahertz application, then the size of the antenna will be too small and we'll not be able to make it by hand. These were the two main reasons because of which we targeted 2.4 gigahertz application.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, judges. Thank you, Isha. Looking forward to use your wearable antenna for Bluetooth applications. Let's move on to the next student on roll, Mr. Harsh Goel. And the next student, the next group is Khairaj Raj Basumatri and Nabjyoti Gairi. Please be prepared. And
Thank you,
you
ma'am.
can go ahead. Yes, Harsh, go ahead.
I hope my slides are visible.
Yes. Yes, please go ahead. Your slides are
Yes,
visible.
yes, ma'am. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. I am Harsh Goel, a student of BSc Electronics from Keshav Mahavidyalaya, Delhi University. Today, I got this huge opportunity to present my project, that is LabVIEW based smart home control system. So the principal objective of this project is to design an intelligent smart home which is used to increase the accuracy and speed of automotive system by monitoring the lighting system, temperature system, and water alarm system. I present this design which is based on LabVIEW software which is capable of achieving this target to larger extent. In this project, the design covers three parts. First is maintaining the temperature of the room, and the second is water level control tank, and the third is intelligent lighting control system. The methodology used in this project are for first the temperature control system. The basic element in this system is the reading temperature from the user, and according to the temperature entered by the user, the application start running. Like if the temperature is less than 20 degrees Celsius, heater will start, and if the temperature is in range 20 to 30 degrees Celsius, fan will start, and if the temperature is above 30 degrees Celsius, air conditioner will start automatically. If the room temperature increases beyond 120 degrees Celsius, fire alarm will start and emergency exit gate will open. For designing this, I have used different case structure, and there are separate LEDs indicating the level of temperature, and also there is an animated man shown moving toward the application as soon as the simulation starts. If the fire alarm is on, he will walk out of the emergency door. As you can see from the front panel of the software, where I have used these LEDs, and these are the appliances which will start accordingly, and this is the exit, and this is the fire alarm when the temperature increases beyond 100 degrees Celsius, which means that there may be fire in the room. Then the animated man will move out of the door and the fire alarm will start. Then here is the block diagram where I have used the in-range coherence function to achieve this condition, where I have set the range for minimum temperature, that is 1 to 19 degrees Celsius, and for medium temperature it is 20 to 29 degrees Celsius, and for high temperature it is 30 to 99 degrees Celsius, and for fire alarm it is 100 to 200 degrees Celsius. Then comes the water alarm system, that is water level indicator is used to express the level of water in the water tank. The circuit not only indicates the amount of water present in the tank but also gives an indication when the tank is full. As the water continues to fill the tanks, the LEDs light up gradually. There is a sound alarm which starts when the tank is full. To program this using LabVIEW, a while structure is used. In the body of the while loop, there is a function called in-range coherence function which is connected to the feedback node, and the while loop is executed till the user press stop button. And there are two slider control flow in and flow out. Flow in slider and water tank to, whereas flow out removes the water from the tank. There are separate Boolean indicators which connect which glow according to the water level in the tank, which are empty tank, half tank, and full tank. As you can see from the front panel, where these are the slider for flowing in the water and removing out the water. And here's the Boolean indicator which will indicate if the tank is empty, half, or tank full. Here is the block diagram where I have set the conditions which will turn accordingly the Boolean indicator. And third comes the intelligent lighting control system. In this system, intelligent lighting control system is used to control the room lighting according to our choice. There are 5 LED in room which is made using color box of LabVIEW functions. To select the color of light, case structure used in which color constant is defined for different colors. User can select different color for different LEDs using menu-based selection, and user can select different color for different LEDs. There are some colors which are red, blue, green, and black. Here is the front panel where I have set LED 1 color, LED, all the LEDs color which are blown accordingly. And here is the block diagram for the same. And the beneficial impact are that the smart home can minimize the power losses and can provide the safety in our day-to-day life. The smart home technology provides fully automatic, secured, and energy efficient system. Thank you. That's all from my side.
Anita, you are muted.
Thank you, Harsh. Now the judges may ask question, if any.
I have one question for you. It looks like a very interesting home automation idea. I was just wondering whether you have done any research on what's the existing art in home automation, especially like the intelligent thermal control as well as lighting control. There are a lot of things available already. I was wondering if you have looked at any of those before you came into this.
Yes, sir. I have looked at some models where, like, there are many automatic LEDs also available. Like from Cisco, there are where we can use our Wi-Fi connection to control the LED colors using our smartphone.
How do you differentiate that with your approach is my question. Mostly Wi-Fi is everywhere in these days, right? Isn't Wi-Fi based ones is more simpler? Just curious, what's your thought on that, whether it's a Wi-Fi based systems are more simpler versus your approach?
I think that I have designed is more simpler.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you, judges. Thank you, Harsh. It's such a wonderful idea. This may aid to achieve a safe and full of services house. Now, I would like to request the next group to share the screen space consisting of Khairaj Raj Basumatri and Nabjoti Gairi. Yes.
A very good afternoon to everyone present here. Respected honorable chief guests, Manoj Balla, guest of honor Sri Anil Bhatia, judges, the organizers, and all the other participants present here. Today, on behalf of Central Institute of Technology, Kokrajhar, as a first-year student, I, Khairaj Raj Basumatri, and my teammate Navjoti Gairi, both from the EC department, will be presenting our work on the topic Dual-Axis Solar Tracker. Dual-Axis Solar Tracker is a device that can keep tracking the solar rays to keep the solar plates facing the sun for more efficiency in harnessing the solar rays. It has two axes of rotation, horizontal and a vertical. Here is a little demonstration. So the main idea that we came across in making this project was when we saw that the static solar plates couldn't generate enough electricity. Due to the rotation of the earth, the solar plates cannot orient and adjust themselves to face the direct sunlight. So to make it, we used various components such as Arduino, LDR, IR sensors, L298 and motor driver, breadboard, solar panels, bridge rectifier, 12-volt DC motor, and a voltage source. Now, to talk more about its working process, Here's my teammate Navajyoti Goyari with his slides.
So a very good afternoon to everyone present here. Hello.
Yes, you are
Am I
audible.
audible?
Please go ahead.
So a very good afternoon to everyone present here. I am Navajyoti Goyari, and I will be presenting about the details and working process of this device. So firstly, we have here, So firstly, we have here Arduino, which is a microcontroller that acts as a small computer that controls the whole system and working of various other equipments, and also the main core part in our system. So secondly, we have used here a L298 and H bridge motor driver, which is used for, which functioning is to control the two motors that we have used here. And thirdly, we have here Arduino, which, thirdly, we have here infrared sensor, which are modified as power requirements by connecting it with LDR, which is a light dependent resistor. Now the working of the IR sensor is basically it senses the signal around it, and thus detects the object presence of objects around it. So the LDR, what it does is that since we have modified it, so LDR will send its own signal to the IR sensors, and IR sensors in turn receive those signals, and it will perform its function. So here, nextly, we have used here 7 by 7 centimeter or total 4 solar plates, which are capable of producing 12.56 volt and 4 ampere of current. Now, since this electricity generated is high and must be rectified for running various other small equipments, we have used here a bridge rectifier, which is used for rectifying the high voltage and current to a low one. And for the demonstration purpose, we have used an LED bulb here. So now moving towards on the working process, here we have used here LDR, and as I've discussed earlier, that LDR starts conducting on the basis of depending on the intensity of light that falls on it. So when the light falls on it, it starts conducting and send it to the IR sensors, into which in turn IR sensor receive those signals and send it to the Arduino in its input pins 2, 3, 4, and 5, which in turn Arduino processes these signals and thereby giving it as an output signal through its output pins 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now these output signals are then received by the motor drivers in its input pins 1, 2, 3, and 4, and thereby processed and given out signal to the output pins, which are displayed in the screen. So here the signals are then received by the motors 1 and motors 2, and which will be now for the connection purpose, we have used here a breadboard, which is connected with a 5 volt DC battery, and this 5 volt DC battery is giving power to the 4 IR sensors, and moving towards the power supply of the L298 and Miss motor driver, it is getting power from the Arduino, and which in turn Arduino is getting power from the adapter or a 5 volt DC battery. Now, since it is a prototype model, we have used here an external power source, but when this is put into a real practice, electricity generated by the solar plates will be sufficient to run these devices and will work efficiently. So this is all about the detailed analysis of our project. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Navajyoti, for sharing about its working process to the judges. Now I will be talking about its benefits and its drawbacks. Just like every device has its own advantages and disadvantages, this also has some benefits and its drawbacks. So talking about its benefits first, this system can boost electricity production by 20 to 30% more than the static solar plates. And like we all know, we are facing a lot of environmental pollution. So we need to move more towards effective and efficient green energy sources so that the world could run more on the green energy sources for a better world tomorrow. Now, the drawbacks of the system we currently face are it is more costlier than the static solar plates due to its additional components and also requires time-to-time maintenance. And due to its more added components, it becomes more heavier and bulkier. Now, finally, we would like to end our presentation by thanking Sri Aurobindo College and organizers of Iconics for giving us such an opportunity to display our work and a chance to learn from something from this experience of making this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Khairaj and Vasu. Thank you, Khairaj and Navjyoti. Now I request judges to ask questions, if any.
Yeah, I have one question. You said that its efficacy is 20 to 30%. How did you measure this?
Actually, ma'am, we have done, we have just seen through the internet and all web searches that we have found that its efficiency is around, if we could, line up the solar plates the whole day during with the tracking the solar rays, then its efficiency will be more better and thereby we'll get a 20 to 30% boost.
Did you do any experimentation for checking the efficacy and the working of this model? Did you do any quantitative analysis?
No, ma'am. Actually, we didn't much do about on experimental basis. It is just the concept that came in our mind when we see that the solar plates exactly one rotate with that changing the direction of the sun. So our just motive is to that how can we make the solar rays track those solar plates track those solar rays, and thus we can able to harness more solar energy.
Thank you. So very.
But also, if you want, we can measure in differentiating by the 4 different solar plates. Like if we take the static solar plates, when it produces some electricity, if we measure the amount of voltage or current it produces, and if we compare with this dual axis solar tracker, it can produce more voltages and electricity.
Yeah, we need more experimental results on that. It requires more work, but it's a very good idea. Well presented.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, judges, and thank you, Khairaj and Navjyoti. Wonderful concept, and looking forward to use at least 45% more energy by using dual axis solar trackers. So now I request the next student on roll, Lalit Shukla. Lalit Shukla to showcase your work. And the next student on roll is Manas Agarwal. Please be prepared, Manas Agarwal. I request Lalit Shukla.
We cannot find Lalit either of panelists or attendees list as of now.
Okay, so we are going ahead. Manas Agarwal.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Manas Agarwal, please go ahead. You can present your work. And the next student on roll is Prahlad Prajapat. Prahlad Prajapat, please be ready. Manas Agarwal, please go ahead.
Ma'am, is my screen visible?
Yes.
Greetings to all respected judges. My name is Manas Agarwal and I'm a third year student at Jawaharlal Nehru University. My topic is compact inverted F MIMO antenna covering 3G, 4G and 5G for mobile handsets. 5G is likely to provide much faster mobile broadband speed than the current generation of mobile technology, and its use requires large blocks of spectrum. Stakeholders have already identified possible bands below 6 GHz for use with 5G as a part of mobile data strategy, but unfortunately, there isn't much unoccupied spectrum below 6 GHz. And so, as a solution to this, approved by various stakeholders like Qualcomm, Ofcom, GSM, etc., FCC has allowed the use of 5.9 GHz to 7.1 GHz band as a licensed spectrum in US. So my objective in this project is to make an antenna, a compact inverted F antenna that for 3G UMTS and 4G LTE covers 2.1 GHz band and also covers newly introduced 6 GHz band for 5G NR. Our antenna should also support third and fifth generation, previous generation of networks, that is 3G and 4G should be a MIMO antenna that is have multiple ports for input and output, like for giving excitation to the antenna, and should have high throughput and high isolation between the two antennas, in this case the IFS strips. I have used ANSYS HFSS 20.2 version in order for simulation of the structure of the antenna. Our dual port inverted F antenna is affixed on the top edge of the mobile structure as shown. The design is constructed on an 8 mm thick flame retardant substrate of relative permittivity 4.4. The ground of the antenna is treated as a 6.9 inch display of the matter ground on the top edge of which the antenna is affixed. As can be observed that the 5 mm clearance area has been left intentionally so as to give a space for other mechanical structures like ports, SIM slots, headphone jack to be introduced in the mobile. In the middle, we have placed the standard T-shaped decoupling structure. This T-shaped decoupling structure, the dimensions are actually shown in the figure itself, is actually used to reduce the coupling between the two IFS strips. These two IFS strips are electromagnetically coupled, and this reduces the efficiency of the antenna. So as to decouple this, we have used this standard T-shaped decoupling structure. Further, in order to reduce this decoupling, we have edged out two L-shaped slots on the ground. Now, in order to determine its usage, I have done the analysis of the antenna based on these parameters. So the return loss parameters is less than -10 decibels, that is S11 is less than -10 decibels for this antenna, and it shows that our antenna has a pretty much proper impedance matching. Isolation for this antenna for the usage of a standard T-shaped decoupling structure and L slots, we have this isolation for our resonance frequency of 2.1 GHz and 6.5 GHz to be less than -15 decibels. That shows our two IFS strips are well isolated from each other and are electromagnetically decoupled. Now, envelope correlation coefficient takes into account the radiation pattern, shape, polarization, and relative electric and magnetic fields radiated by the antenna. We require that these fields on the radiation patterns to be decoupled with each other, and this also gives us the measure of the same thing. Lower ECC leads to a larger channel capacity. ECC of our proposed antenna is lower than 0.2 in the 6.5 GHz range. This is the required condition that is as per the standard given in various books and on internet. This indicates a good MIMO performance. Now, the radiation efficiency of antennas can be defined as the ratio of radiated power to the input power. Radiation efficiency of a proposed antenna in terms of decibels must lie between -7 to -1.5 decibels. And as shown, can be observed from the graph that for 2.1 at a resonance frequency of 2.1 GHz, I have got a value of minus 3.47 decibels, and 6.5, I've got it around minus 4.14. These are the radiation patterns of the antenna. Like at 2.1 gigahertz, this red line shows the radiation pattern at a phase angle phi equals to 0 degree, whereas a blue line shows at a phase angle of phi equal to 90 degree. So like based on these parameters that I've discussed and the structure I proposed, I think that the antenna has a compact structure and can be used for 3G, 4G, and 5G NR applications. And like because of a small structure can be easily integrated in a mobile handset. Thank you.
Thank you, Manas. Our expert may ask questions now.
Any ask? Why antenna is installed at the top or at the sides? What will be the difference if it is installed on sides?
Ma'am, there is no as such a difference, but on the sides, generally the buttons are installed and the battery is actually placed at the bottom face of the antenna. And so that is why I've placed it at the top. I mean, according to the general conventions, this is done.
Okay. Can we have buttons on the top and then you have more space area for all this?
Ma'am, actually this actually happens in Apple iPhones usually, but as first we have seen in phones of Samsung, and the majority of companies are nowadays placing volume buttons and power buttons on the sides actually. This is what I observed. I mean,
okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, judges. Thank you, Manas. This may be useful to mobile handset industry and projects. So now I request the next student on roll, Mr. Prahlad Prajapat.
Yeah, ma'am.
Prahlad Prajapat, to showcase your work. And the next student on roll is Pratap Kumar Bal. Pratap Kumar Bal, please be ready. Prahlad, you can go ahead.
Ma'am. Yeah, ma'am. Wait, ma'am. दिख नहीं रहा है. Wait, ma'am.
Please sign off from one device if you are logged in with two devices.
मैम एक ही डिवाइस से ऑन कर रखा है. ऑडियो. मैम मैं इसके बाद कर सकता हूँ नेक्स्ट अगला सेलेक्ट कर सकता हूँ. ओके मैम इसका अगला. ओके.
Anita, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Just wanted to inform you that Lalit has joined. You may ask him to present his work.
Lalit can go ahead now then. Lalit Shukla, you can go ahead.
Yes, ma'am.
After Lalit, Prahlad, you will be showing. Prahlad. Okay, Lalit, you go ahead.
Yes, ma'am.
Lalit, you are visible. Please present your work.
Yes, हम screen share कर रहे हैं. Is the screen is visible?
Your screen is visible.
Okay. So my name is Dalal Shukla from Acharya Narendra College, and I am going to present you hello.
Yes, you are audible
Yes, ma'am.
and visible. Please go ahead.
There is some technical issue. Please let me resolve it. Yes, ma'am. So my name is Dalal Shukla and from Acharya Narendra College, and I am going to present you my paper on a magnetic resonant braking system and accident avoiding system. So this is basically one system, and this basically work on the principle of electromagnetic induction. So this is the basic definition of electromagnetic induction, the Faraday's law, and the system is designed on the magnetic induction and LCR circuit. So when the when there is a condition of resonance, the circuit works, and this is the same principle which is involved in Samsung's wireless charging. This is also known as wireless resonant coupling. And present the paper. Yes. So we basically derive the formula for the system. And हमने मतलब इसमें basically हुआ क्या है कि we use the magnetic resonance system, and हमने magnetic field का एक formula derive किया था. तो वो basic formula, that formula gives you magnetic field at particular point. So we have two coils here. So there are two coils. So one is transmitter coil and other is receiver coil. तो जब ट्रांसमीटर कॉइल में हम लोग करंट इंड्यूस कराते हैं, जब उसमें करंट फ्लो कराते हैं उसमें, तो दूसरे उसकी वजह से उसके कॉइल के आसपास मैग्नेटिक फील्ड इंड्यूस होती है. So that magnetic field is present on the center of the other coil, or it is present around the coil. तो हम किसी particular point पर अगर magnetic field को निकालते हैं तो उसके लिए हमको पता है कि एक basic formula होता है, ये formula होता है. If the current is fluctuating, if the current is alternating current or fluctuating current, then the current is given by I naught sine omega t. So omega is the frequency. Omega is the resonant frequency, which is given by 1 upon root LC, where L is the inductance of the coil and C is the capacitance. So we derive this formula for the magnetic field at particular point, and if there is magnetic field which is time dependent, so then there will be a EMF induced in that as per the Faraday's law. So there will be some EMF induced. So we basically, our system is working on the principle of magnetic induction, and by the principle of magnetic induction, we can induce EMF in another coil. And with the help of resonant circuits, we can increase the power, or increase the EMF, magnitude of EMF in the other coil. So this is our circuit. This is the basic description of the circuit. And where to use this circuit? What is the basic application of this circuit? So we have used this magnetic resonant braking system. So we all know that there is a startup of Elon Musk, which is Hyperloop, जो कि इंडिया में भी आने वाला है काफी जल्दी. तो there are 3 braking system in Hyperloop. So this particular system which I have designed can be implemented in Hyperloops for braking, and it can reduce the chance of collision accidents in the Hyperloop or any kind of vehicle such as maglev trains, and also in metros. So such kind of trains, where the trains come at very small interval of around 5 minutes. So if there are, and we all know that there are some trains which is like recently in Delhi it is inaugurated, which was a driverless metro. So in that case, we can use this system for the avoidance of accident. So this is basically a system, this basically works on principle of magnetic induction, and as the trains are very close to each other. So the EMF induced in the second receiver coil, and as the EMF is induced, we get to know that there is some train which is in front of the other train, and we can apply brake. The system can be designed for automatic system, and we have if the train is coming with some velocity, so we have formula for that. If the train is coming with some velocity, then EMF will be given by this particular equation. And these results are also verified by the experimental results. We have this observation table of experimental observation table, and this theoretical table where we have shown that the magnetic field at the center of the coil is as shown in the table, and the EMF induced. So we have very good results. This is the graph. These are the points of experimental points and the theoretical
curve. Your graph is not visible, Lalit. Your graph is not visible.
Yes, ma'am.
And total time allotted is 5 minutes only.
Now, is it visible?
No, Lalit. No. I can see your definition slide.
Oh.
Electromagnetic
it wasn't
induction
sharing, I
definition
guess.
slide.
Yes, now is it visible now?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. So
Your
this
graph.
is the graph. This is the graph. This is the experimental curve and the theoretical points. So that this is theoretical curve and experimental points, and this is the table, observation table. So, and this is the variation. This was our experimental curve, which these are the points, and which I have plotted. So as this was not visible before, so these are the equations. These are the equations. This equation gives when the train is coming with some velocity, so the EMF will be given by this equation, this particular equation, where omega is the resonant frequency and v is the velocity, x is the distance between the two trains. So this equation gives you the EMF when the train is coming with some velocity, and this is when they are stationary. So this v will be 0. So yes, so this is so we have the conclusion was that we can use this system in hyperloop type trains or metro trains.
Prahlad, I request you to stop your presenting your work. Lalit's presentation is going on.
Yes.
Lalit, please conclude.
Yes, ma'am. So now I'm going to conclude that this system can be used in hyperloop type trains and metro and electrical trains and any kind of train so which move on certain time intervals. So the collision time, the collision is most frequent in such kind of trains. So this system can be used there, and the magnetic braking system can be used in trains like hyperloop. So this was our conclusion, and we can further for the future purpose we can implement some kind of material in which we can use resonant circuits, so that we the system can be used in the material of the train, so that we can avoid the accident. So this was it. Thank you.
Thank you, Lalit. The house is now open for judges to ask questions.
Lalit, I have a question. You know what you are actually describing? It's called regenerative braking. So basically, you know, when the vehicle decelerates, its kinetic energy needs to get converted to some other kind of energy. So have you thought about it? Because now you have some energy which can be utilized for some other purposes.
Yes, ma'am. Basically, it is not on the. This is not the principle of regenerative braking. Regenerative braking is something different. Our principle is basically magnetic induction. So if there is this is basic principle of magnetic induction. When there is a coil current in a coil, so the magnetic field is induced, and the magnitude of the induced EMF is very less. So we have used LC oscillator when the frequency is at a certain frequency, which is omega is equal to 1/√LC, which is resonant frequency. So at that frequency, the EMF which is induced in the other coil, that will be maximum. So this is the basic principle.
I totally understand, but when you are decelerating something, right?
Yes,
you are braking something, you are decelerating, your energy will be released, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So that energy is available. So
yes,
that
we can use
used at some other places, right?
Yes, ma'am. We can use regenerative braking. So we in some cars like Volkswagen, they are using regenerative braking in cars, and in heavy vehicles also, in trains also, they are in Mumbai local, they are using regenerative braking. So heavy vehicle do have capability because they have lot more inertia, and because of inertia, the regenerative braking is more efficient in that case. So we can use while braking, we can use regenerative braking also in this.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
One small question from my side. If there is a crossing of trains at 90 degree, then how it will work?
If this is if the train are symmetric to each other, if the coils, this principle crossing in the sense
there is crossing of trains at 90 degree, then how it will work?
If the coils are not aligned, if the coils are
explaining.
Yes, if the coils are not aligned.
Yes.
So in that case, the system will not work because, as I mentioned, I was thinking to use it in a hyperloop because this is totally symmetrical case. So yes, this is symmetrical case, but we can design a system which can somehow work. If the system is not symmetrical, we can design a system for that. And there are some research paper, I have read some research paper. So they are all trying to do this unsymmetrical case also. So in future that will be also possible.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Lalit.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, judges. Thank you, Lalit. Looking forward to implement the idea in accident avoidance system and railways. So let's move on to the next student on roll, Prahlad Prajapat. And I request Pratap Kumar Bal to be prepared. Prahlad, you can present your work now.
Yeah, ma'am. Ma'am, my screen invisible.
Yes, please.
Yeah, ma'am. Okay, yeah, ma'am.
Yes, you can go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, ma'am. And this is Arduino based solar tracking system. And हम लोगों ने इस प्रोजेक्ट पर elite summer research program आचार्य नरेंद्र कॉलेज में elite research program में complete किया था. मैम अंकिता अभी प्रेजेंट नहीं है. आई एम हियर प्रहलाद प्रजापत. मैम हमने इसे मिस्टर दिनेश कुमार एंड डॉक्टर उदयवीर सिंह के मेंटरशिप में किया था. मैम बेसिकली दिस इज द प्रिंसिपल ऑब्जेक्टिव. लाइक जब लाइट गिरती है हमारे सन, जब लाइट सोलर पैनल पर गिरती है तो लाइट इंसिडेंट लाइट और सोलर पैनल अगर वो दूसरे के परपेंडिकुलर मतलब इंसिडेंट लाइट का जो प्लेन है और वो सोलर जो इंसिडेंट लाइट है, वो दोनों अगर एक दूसरे के पैरेलल हो, दैट टाइम जो एनर्जी होगी वो मैक्सिमम होगी। तो दैट्स वाई कि हमारा सोलर पैनल ऑन द ओवर द डे जो इंसिडेंट लाइट है और पैनल उसके बीच में एंगल दोनों पैरेलल होने चाहिए। अगर ऐसा ना होता है तब आपको जो एनर्जी है वो मैक्सिमाइज नहीं होती है, ऑल द डे ये पूरा मैक्सिमाइज नहीं होती है। तो इसको हम ऐसे समझ सकते हैं, ये आपको ये आप देख रहे हो कि अगर आप डिग्री जो एंगल है, जो इंसिडेंट जो लाइट है और जो पैनल है उनके बीच में जो एंगल अगर आप 15 डिग्री कर रहे हो तब आपको 0% लॉस होता है। अगर आप एंगल 30 डिग्री बढ़ा दे रहे हो तो आपको लॉस, अब धीरे धीरे से डिग्री एनएच कर रहे हो, डिग्री इंक्रीज कर रहे होंगे, आपका लॉस बढ़ता जा रहा है। तो दैट्स वाई हमने थ्योरेटिकल वेकअप जो स्टडी किया उससे हमें ये समझ में आया कि अगर हम एंगल बढ़ा दे रहे हैं तो कहीं ना कहीं जो एनर्जी लॉस है जो पर आवर वो बढ़ता चला जा रहा है। तो दैट्स वाई वी डिसाइड कि एक ऐसा सेटअप बने जहाँ सनलाइट जब ईस्ट से लेकर वेस्ट तक सन जा रहा हो तो उसके साथ साथ वो लाइट के साथ साथ वो पैनल पूरा घूमे। मैम इसमें हम लोगों ने सोचा कि ये नॉट फॉर एक डे के लिए बनाए, नाइट के लिए, एवरी टाइम के लिए बनाए, तो हमने 360 डिग्री बनाया। लाइक ये ऊपर से नीचे भी जाएगा प्लस साइड में लेफ्ट टू राइट भी घूमेगा। तो मैम ये सेटअप है। तो ये अगर हमने एक सेटअप बनाया बस प्रोटोटाइप की टोस्ट डालेंगे तो ये लेफ्ट टू राइट भी जाएगा और ऊपर से नीचे भी जाएगा। एंड मैम ये हमारा सर्किट है जहां हमने 4 एलडीआर यूज किए हैं और ये चारों एलडीआर सोलर पैनल पर लेफ्ट राइट और ऊपर नीचे लगे। लाइक मैम जैसे एलडीआर बेसिकली एलडीआर लाइट डिपेंडेंट रेजिस्टर होता है, जब उस पर लाइट गिरती है तो उसकी रेजिस्टिविटी चेंज होती है और उसकी रेजिस्टिविटी चेंज होने से उसके अक्रॉस जो वोल्टेज होता है वो चेंज होता है। तो ये बेसिकली जब वोल्टेज चेंज होने की वजह से हमें ये पता चलता है कि लाइट की इंटेंसिटी कम है या ज्यादा है। तो मैम देयर आर 4 LDR sensor, they sense the intensity of the light. On the basis of the intensity of light, the panels will rotate from up to down and left to right. So that's why this working. And two servo motor they are uses. और मैम ये मेरा प्रोग्रामिंग सेटअप है कि जब लाइट स्ट्रेट होती है तो एलडीआर वैल्यूज रिसीव करता है, आर्डिनो प्रोग्राम करता है, वो कंपेयर करता है द एवरेज वैल्यू ऑफ टॉप एलडीआर द एवरेज वैल्यू ऑफ द बॉटम एलडीआर। if the average value of top LDR is greater than the average value of bottom LDR, then the vertical motor the rotate upward direction. Or if the average value of the bottom LDR is greater than the average value of the LDR, then the vertical servo motor rotate downward direction. In the same concept in applied in the horizontal plane, the compare between the average value of the left LDR and the average value of the right LDR. If the average value of left LDR is greater than the average value of the right LDR, then the horizontal servo motors rotate in the left direction. And the second case, the average value of left LDR is less than the average value of right LDR. The horizontal servo motor in rotate in the right direction. When there are some practical data we will observe sometimes and at a particular time and the particular voltage and the particular current in circuit, and that's why we calculate the power or you are showing then 35.15% efficiency, but I think it is not practically working. It is only in prototype working. In practically आप देखोगे तो सर्वो मोटर भी कुछ ना कुछ जो एनर्जी कंज्यूम करेगा, तो हमें देखना पड़ेगा कि जो कितना परसेंट एनर्जी एक्स्ट्रा आ रही है प्लस कितना परसेंट एनर्जी सर्वो मोटर कंज्यूम कर रहा है। तो ये समथिंग एक ड्रॉबैक है इस सिस्टम का कि सर्वो मोटर भी एक जो मोटर लगी होगी वो भी एक एनर्जी कंज्यूम करेगी। और अगर हम प्रैक्टिकल सिस्टम में लगाएंगे तो बेसिकली प्रैक्टिकल सिस्टम में एक बहुत बड़ा सोलर पैनल लगा होगा, सेटअप बहुत बड़ा लगा होगा, तो वहां पर सर्वो मोटर ज्यादा एनर्जी कंज्यूम करेगी। तो जितनी एनर्जी हमें एक्स्ट्रा मिल रही है इस मतलब सोलर पैनल को लगातार घुमाने से इन द पर्टिकुलर डायरेक्शन ऑफ द इंसिडेंट रे, तो उस केस में तो वो एक सेटअप है जो एक आगे की जो रिसर्च हो सकती है उस पर हमने अब बेसिकली उतना काम नहीं है, ये हमारा एक ड्रॉबैक है। एंड बाय द वे हमने इस पे 35% 1.5 to 8 एफिशिएंसी जो हमने देखी उसकी वजह से हमने सेटअप बनाया। एंड द फ्यूचर इसका वर्क ये हो सकता है एक्सपेक्ट कि अगर हम इन द फ्यूचर अगर हम ये ड्रॉबैक कभी कम कर पाए जो सर्वो मोटर की वजह से हो रहा है, इसको हम किसी इलेक्ट्रिसिटी प्रोवाइड करने के बजाय अभी हमने आर्डिनो सिस्टम के थ्रू ये काम किया है। आर्डिनो 8 मेगाबाइट 382 जो सिस्टम होता है उसके थ्रू हमने प्रोग्रामिंग करके किया है, लेकिन इन द सिस्टम हम कोई मैकेनिकल सिस्टम बना पाए जिसमें कोई इलेक्ट्रिकल जो एनर्जी वो भी कंज्यूम नहीं हो रही है, तो ये सिस्टम और ज्यादा एफिशिएंट बन सकता है। बेसिकली इज द ऑल ओवर द यूटिलिटी ऑफ एलडीआर, लाइक कि एलडीआर सेंसर है उसकी यूटिलिटी की वजह से ये सारा ऑटोमेटिक सिस्टम डेवलप हुआ है। मैं बेसिकली मैं जो रिसर्च पर पढ़ रहा हूँ उसमें बेसिकली ऑन द वे हर ईयर इसमें कुछ ना कुछ जो इंक्रीजमेंट आ रहा है। द अकॉर्डिंग द एरिया वाइज, द जोन वाइज अलग अलग वर्ल्ड में अलग अलग एफिशिएंसी दिखा रहा है। तो बेसिकली दिस एफिशिएंसी इज द कह सकते हैं इंडिया में, अगर हम जो अभी यहाँ से दिल्ली में जहाँ पर नोट किया है उसके हिसाब से है, बट अलग अलग रीजन में काफी जगह इन्होंने 45% भी डाटा जो हमने नेट पे देखा था उसमें दिखा रखा है। तो दैट इज ऑल अबाउट आवर प्रोजेक्ट एंड थैंक यू सो मच।
Thank you, Prahlad. Our esteemed judges may ask question now, if any. I request the judges to ask question, if any.
Can I ask?
Yes, ma'am.
Why did Chandrayaan-1 stop communicating after a year? Yes, please.
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah, my question is, why did Chandrayaan-1 stop communicating after 1 year?
Okay, ma'am, basically it is a, I think it's a network issue, I think. Basically data is lost, so we can say that connection is loose.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Prahlad.
Thank you, judges. Thank you, Prahlad. Looking forward to implement in solar tracking system to harvest green energy. Magnificent work. Now I would like to call the next student on roll, Pratap Kumar Bal.
Yes, ma'am.
And the next student is Pushkar Barnwal. Please be prepared. Pratap, you can go ahead.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Pratap Kumar Bal, and I'm currently pursuing BSc Electronics from Sri Aurobindo College, University of Delhi, India. And my project is on smartphones, extreme privacy priority. So let's proceed. So here's a synopsis. As we know, smartphones have become a part of our life. And previous few months, we have more concern about our privacy, both in hardware and software parts. And many technologies have been developed and are being developed or are under concept stages so that we can be more privacy protected. So I will be more focusing on the hardware part rather than the software part. Okay, so what will the benefit? Wouldn't that be amazing if we will be scrolling our content, chats, privacy, and doing our confidential things without facing the trouble that someone is speaking into our phone? Okay, the concept I'm introducing is a second screen that can be attached to any smartphone.
Pratap, we cannot hear you.
Hello?
Yes, now you are audible.
Yeah. Excuse me, sorry, network issues. Oh, so where was I? I guess so. I completed the previous slide. So let's. Oh, I didn't share my screen. Okay, let me share. Is my screen visible?
Yes, now.
Okay. So the concept I'm introducing is a second screen that can be attached to any smartphone like a gadget or an accessory. So the question is, why would I need a second screen? So this would be an ordinary LCD display, but it wouldn't have the polarizing filter in it. So to normalize without the polarizing filter of a screen, we will see a white light only, because our eyes can't detect whether the pixel has liquid crystal had twisted the light.
Pratap, you are not audible. Pratap lost connection, I guess.
Hello.
Yes, Pratap.
Ma'am, I don't know why it's happening right now. Up till then it was correctly, so let me go again. So let's start with the project directly. So it's a video that I found on YouTube. Here is a close concept related to me. Okay, so what this person did is he removed the polarizing filter from the phone screen, LCD screen, and then used this screen on the particular angle 0 degree to this, because it's a horizontal filter on the glasses, and there he has this iPhone white screen, and with the glasses he can watch the screen. But there are some issues with it. So the major issues, that was an iPhone, and if we are using a phone that's expensive also, so if we remove the polarizing filter of our original phone, then without the glass it will be useless. And because of filter on the glasses is horizontal, we can't view our phone in landscape view, and there are risks too, because we are not professionals, and if we do any mistake, the screen can be cracked, the polarizing filter can be damaged, or any other things. So this is how to overcome these problems. The components I will be using is a smartphone with the Type-C, HDMI supported LCD touchscreen display, a Type-C to HDMI cable, or we can use a Type-C to female HDMI and then HDMI to HDMI, stickable clamp, ordinary spectacles, and Fevistick. So this is the normal type. This is the LCD touchscreen display with HDMI support, the Type-C to HDMI cable, and smartphone. If we connect this, then what will happen is our screen will be casted to this phone, and if we touch on this phone, the tab will be also here. And since it's a touch screen display, if we tap on next this screen, the touch will be here. So both are working well. Then if we remove the front polarizer of our screen, LCD screen, then if we connect it, then the result will be a white screen to all naked eyes. And then this is our polarized glasses, in which we use the Fevistick and put the polarizer on it. And then if we watch, we can watch this. And then how to attach this? This is a stickable clamp here. The front are LCD touchscreen display here and our phone here, but still our screen is this side. So what we can do is flip it, but still there is something that we can watch. So what we can do is take the benefit of Type-C, because it can be worked either way, front or back. We will be using a cover as this. And then if we see like this, if we connect our HDMI to Type-C, then to normalize, we won't be able to see, but with the polarized glass, we will be able to see the screen. So here's the result. Now we own a gadget that can be attached to any smartphone and allow only you to see your phone screen. So here we have our private phone, and future works that can be done in this field. As we know, smartphones are very essential in our life, and there are many courses opted for us specifically on smartphone, like smartphone photography, smartphone editing, photo editing, or something like that. So we can go to the modular phones, okay? And the concept that will be used is Google's Ara. That already clears most of the part in the next slides. Okay, so Google Ara uses some modules that's in concept stages right now. So if we proceed in that direction, then we can have independent Bluetooth and Wi-Fi modules for privacy also, and physical switchable camera and mic, so that in any case we can manually turn it off and on and off, and some extra part that switchable RAM, ROM, display of high refresh rate, or we can also make a module specifically for this kind of purpose, without a polarizer screen, a specifically modulo that we can switch our previous screen and insert this one. So the beneficial impact, there can be many beneficial impact as it will be a modular phone. Modular phone means we can customize each and every part according to us. So a photographer, they can have a high camera module, or for a teacher they can have a projector module, or for a gamer they can have a better processor module. Rather than buying an entire new phone and wasting tons of money on it, they can have it. And in future also, if I have a phone that's already very best in condition and I need a new 5G phone, then I can just switch the 5G module in it. Although it will impact some things like we need to change the processor or something, they can be also swappable, right? Like this. So here's the references that I took from. These are the 4 websites. And thank you.
Thank you, Pratap. And I request all the students to please stick to the time. 5 minutes is allowed.
Yes, ma'am.
The house is now open for judges to ask questions.
I have one question. Pratap, did you actually do any experimental work on this? Did you try this out yourself, or this is just somebody else's work that you presented?
Actually, ma'am, it's just a concept that I used that can be made like this. But since there is no module like this, like people carry power bank with them, and they can also carry a display like this so that they have.
No, I understand that, but is it just a concept, or did you try any experimentation on this?
Actually, ma'am, I don't have the resources right now, so I can't actually work on this kind of work right now.
So you just picked up this work from the YouTube video and you have just presented that?
Actually, no, ma'am. He used the concept, I know, and there are some concept too, but I kind of merged them and modified them in such a way that they can be used externally rather than sacrificing our own phone.
It's a very interesting concept. It's a very interesting concept, and I think it will be low cost economical concept of privacy on the screen.
Yes, ma'am.
I was just wondering what exactly is your contribution and how much testing have you done on this? How much testing have you done on this?
Ma'am, as I already told you that there's just some concept that I merged them.
Thank you.
Okay.
One question from my side.
Yes, ma'am.
What is so special about Type-C? Why you have not chosen others?
Oh, ma'am, actually there are some, ma'am, the older phones are micro USB type that can be put only in one direction, and the other direction they won't be able to use. And most of the phone right now, currently stages, they are on Type-C based that can be used both sides. So if I use a Type-C, I can put out my cover from the phone and then just flip it so that it's like a cover, so that my screen isn't visible to anyone, and I can use the second screen.
Okay. Thank you, Pratap. Thank you,
Thank you, ma'am.
Any other questions? Thank you, judges. Thank you, Pratap, for giving a thought on such a sensitive area, privacy. Now the next student on roll is Pushkar Barnwal.
Good afternoon, everyone. A warm greeting from.
One second, Pushkar. The next student is Rimjim Gupta. Please be prepared, Rimjim. Yes, Pushkar, please go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Pushkar Barnwal from Acharya Narendra Dev College, and I am going to present my work based on accelerometer-based gesture control robot, a device which just operates by the movement of our hand. So the existing exciting new invention presents endless possibilities of how technology can shape the future for the better. Gesture control robot by gestures is operated by gestures made by our hand rather than the use of buttons or joysticks. A transmitting device in the form of glove containing the RF transmitter and accelerometer is worn on hand, and this glove transmits commands to the robot to perform actions like moving forward, reverse, turning left, turning right, and stopping. Hand gestures are assigned to each action which when performed lead to execution of the desired commands. Here is the image of the setup which I have made.
Pushkar,
here you can see.
Pushkar, please present your work. Please present your screen is not visible to us. You are audible and you are visible.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. So I am going to present my guest on behalf of Electronics Department of Acharya Narendra Dev College, accelerometer based gesture controlled robot, a device which just operates by the movement of our hand. So as I have said, this exciting new invention presents endless possibilities of how technology can shape the future for the better. So a gesture controlled robot is just operate by the motion of our hands rather than the use of buttons or joystick. A transmitting device in the form of glove containing the RF transmitter and accelerometer is worn on hand, and this glove transmits command to the robot to perform actions like moving forward, reverse, turning left, turning right, stopping. Hand gestures are assigned to each action which when performed lead to execution of desired commands. So I would like to play a short video so that its working can be understood. Is my screen visible?
Yes. Yes, Pushkar.
So here is it operates by the motion of our hands, as you can clearly see from the hand gestures and the robot, the movement of the robot. So the image of the setup. Here I have used some of the components like accelerometer MPU 6050, RF module 433 MHz, VO motor with wheels, 7805 transistor, microcontroller, motor driver L298D, rechargeable lithium battery, switching port, switch, PCB and gloves. The specification of the components are as follows. MPU 6050. It is I have used only accelerometer part of MPU 6050, and the 4 pins which I have used here are the +3 volt to 5 volt, serial, clock, serial data and ground. The configuration of these 4 pins are as follows. Serial clock here is used for providing clock pulse for communication. Serial data is used for transferring data through communication, and VCC is used for supplying power to the MPU 6050, and ground is connected to the ground of the system. And further more as advancement, the transmitter module encoder used here is used to the encoder is used to encode the 4-bit data and transmit by a RF transmitter module. Here you can see the image of the encoder IC. I have used the 4-bit data is transferred for the movement of the robot. RF transmitter module is very cheaply available and in the market with low cost. Here is the image of the setup. Now, how MPU 6050 is calibrated. So as we all can see here from the graph, the X and the Y axis. So on moving towards the left side of the X axis, it moves left. Towards right hand side, it moves right, and towards up it moves forward, and towards down side of the Y axis it moves downwards. So here I have used only X and Y axis of the accelerometer. I have calibrated the MPU 6050 using the test tube holder from chemistry department. I have taken from the chemistry department. I have calibrated fixing the MPU6050 into the test tube holder, and after that I have obtained some of the angles for stopping. We have to align our hands 180 degree towards 180 degree angle, and the data we have supplying here is the digital pins have the data 0. For right, we have to move tilt our hand towards right to about 34.37 degrees, and here the data is on the D0 pin we are getting the input high. To tilt left we are moving 34.37 degree towards left and D1 gets high. To move back we are moving to 34.37 degree towards back and the D3 pin gets high. To move forward we are moving 40.10 degree forward and D2 gets high. So here why we need to move 40.10 degree? As you have, we can also see the image from this forward. We need to align more because as the posture of our hand might be different. For example, if a fat man wears this gloves, let me show you the gloves. So the angle needed will be less, and if any thin person uses this, then the angle will be more. So I have included more angles so that it could be accessed by everyone. Now the procedure in the transmitting section we have power supply and a microcontroller, and microcontroller sends data to the encoder IC HT12E, and through this encoder it wirelessly transmits data to the decoder IC, and through this and the actions controlled by our hand is through the accelerometer. This is the part of block diagram of transmitting section. And for receiver section we have a RF receiver.
Pushkar, sorry to interrupt, please stick to the time.
Okay, ma'am. We have a receiver side and decoder IC as analog to encoder is used here, and now the power is fed to the motor driver and our motors get operated, and here I have used power supply. So the cost effectiveness and usability of system. So in this paper we propose a model of robot based on hand gesture recognition, utilizing hand gestures to communicate with the robot. The low price and short setup time are some of the advantage of the system. Physical hardship is avoided through the use of accelerometer as the twist of hand. The user gets the ability and freedom to run the robot to desired direction. Some of the applications include: it can be used for segregation of garbage and remove toxic waste. It can be used for surveillance. It can be used in military for launching weapons. It can also be used in the wheelchairs of differently abled people. And the experiment has been guided by Dr. Ravneet Kaur and Dr. Anita Kumari.
Thank you, Pushkar. Our expert may ask questions now.
Pushkar, I have one question. Does the distance between the hand or the hand wearing the glove and the robot matters?
Yes, ma'am, it matters a lot. Here I have used RF transmitter. So range is minimum. Some of the further advancement of the project which I am currently working on, I have used Node MCU in place of RF transmitter and receiver. So what is the advantage is that Node MCU is based on IP address. So if the same transmitting and receiving end is possible through the IP address, the advantage of IP address is that the range automatically get increased, and some of the further advancement, like I have added a robotic arm in which I have used an infrared temperature sensor, which detects the human body temperature, and also the robot consists of a sanitizer bottle, so that when a person hand is a person temperature is being scanned, he could place his hand near the infrared sensor, and automatically the sanitizer from which is fixed on the robot is applied on the hands of the person whose temperature is being scanned. So so here I have found a quite good application of this gesture controlled robot, and also the range is being increased. So this was the disadvantage of RF transmitter and receiver, which was corrected by using Node MCU.
Thank you, Pushkar.
Any questions are welcome. Any other questions from any judges? Okay. Thank you, judges. Thank you, Pushkar, for such a nice thought to help physically challenged and specially abled.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for mentoring my project when you were in our college.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Pushkar. This can be helpful in military applications also. Thank you very much. Next, I call upon the stage Rimjim Gupta to present her work. And the next on roll student is Rohan Chaurasia. Please be prepared. Rimjim Gupta, I request you to present your work.
Hello.
Yes, Rimjim, you are on.
Hello. Okay. Good afternoon to one and all present here. I, Rimjim Gupta, currently pursuing my Bachelor's of Technology from National Institute of Technology, Uttarakhand, feel extremely privileged to present my work for International Conference of Undergraduate Students, ICONIC UG, organized by Sri Aurobindo College, University of Delhi. The title of my presentation is Design and Implementation of an OFDM Transceiver Framework using MATLAB. Ma'am, is my presentation visible?
Yes.
Okay. I'll walk you through the contents of my presentation, which include the abstract, the introduction and principal objective, the block diagram, that is the theoretical backup, the mathematical analysis, the technology used, key features, MATLAB simulation results, and the conclusion. The abstract. OFDM stands for Orthogonal Frequency Division Multiplexing. It is a multi-carrier broadband modulation technique for transmitting large amount of digital data using many parallel narrowband subcarriers instead of one wideband. OFDM was initially introduced by Robert W. Chang of Bell Labs in 1966. Okay, so why do we have this OFDM technology? What's the issue with the existing technologies like FDM? So OFDM is basically a variation of FDM, and it resolves the issues pertaining to ISI, that is intersymbol interference, and intercarrier interference, that is ICI. So in OFDM, the orthogonality makes the carriers closely spaced without guard bands, overlapped, without intercarrier interference, and carriers to act independently. So each carrier acts here independently. The block diagram of OFDM transceiver framework. Transceiver means transmitter and receiver both. So here I've presented the block diagram. So for the transmitter part, we input a parallel stream of data. Then we have IFFT or IDFT, which converts the signal from frequency domain to time domain. Then we add the cyclic prefix, which is copied at the OFDM to avoid the intersymbol interference. Here I've used a 3-tap ISI channel. Then on the receiver side, first of all, the cyclic prefix is removed. Then fast Fourier transformed or DFT, discrete Fourier transform. Hello?
Yes, you are audible and visible, Rimjim. Please go ahead.
Okay, ma'am. So FFT converts data from time to frequency domain, and then we receive the parallel stream of data, which is just the same as the data that was input. And the data which is received, we just have to take the first M samples, because we added cyclic prefix. So we have to take the first M samples from the data. Okay. The next slide considers the mathematical analysis of MATLAB code. So here, first of all, I transmitted the data parallelly, like signal 0, signal 1, signal 2. And then we have the channel subcarriers, which is represented by the coefficients H212. So since I've used a 3-tap ISI, so I have 3 subcarrier coefficients. Then the transmitted signal is plotted in the frequency domain. The IFFT, which is defined by the mathematical formula xn is equal to 1 by n summation xk e to the power of 2 pi nk by n. So this is an inbuilt function which was available in MATLAB, which I used here. After this, the time domain stream of data was plotted. The cyclic prefix was added at the beginning of the signal. Then it had to pass through the 3-tap ISI channel. 3-tap ISI channel, we have the subcarrier coefficients as well as the data. So it is represented by the equation cent of I is equal to H0 xi plus H1 x of I minus 1 plus H2 x of I minus 2. Then the single stream of data is plotted. The received data is converted from the time domain to frequency domain using the fast Fourier transform. Mathematically, it is given as x of k is equal to summation x of n e to the power minus j 2 pi by n into nk. So the frequency domain stream of data and the channel carrier coefficients both are plotted. The cyclic prefix is removed and the received signal is decoded using DFT of the received signal using the convolution property of DFT. Yi is equal to hi into signal I.
I request you to conclude fast.
Okay, then we have the key features of OFDM. The advantages that it is robust against ISI and ICI. It is used in many wireless systems. The disadvantages is that it is sensitive to carrier frequency offset and drift. The beneficial impacts to the society, it is used in wireless communication systems like LTE, WAN, IEEE, cordless phones. So these are my simulation results. And OFDM is basically the future of the next generation wireless communications. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rimjim. Questions are welcome from the judges.
May I speak, Anita?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
Rimjim, it was a very, very crisp presentation. I must congratulate on your presentation.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
As far as the idea goes, OFDM is already there, an accepted idea. So what is the original part in your work?
Yes, ma'am.
What is your contribution?
Hello.
Yeah. Hello. Anita, can you mute the other participants, please?
Please, I request the technical team.
Yeah, Rimjim, can you
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
yes, ma'am.
I wanted to understand what is your significant contribution to this work?
Ma'am, basically my contribution, like OFDM already exists, it is working, but like what I did was the MATLAB simulation. This like it was not as simple. Means OFDM that is existing is not existing in such simple forms. Like mathematical modeling is not in such simple forms. So I took a reference from some YouTube videos where they were just explaining the concepts. So I implemented the concepts on MATLAB. So I think that was the simplicity of OFDM that I wished to implement. And I hope I was successful in implementing the same.
Yes, you made it very simple. I must
Thank you so much. Yeah. So that was my main objective basically, because when I used to study about OFDM, so it was quite complicated. And I was just getting the theoretical concepts through some videos, but I implemented it mathematically, like on MATLAB. So that was my main motto basically.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your question.
Maybe one question. Will it be used in 5G technology? Can your work be implemented for 5G technology application?
Sorry, ma'am, you're not audible to me. Ma'am, can you please repeat your question?
My question is, are you using 5G technology?
5G technology, she's saying.
5G technology. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Ma'am, what's the question? Are we using 5G technology?
Can it be used in 5G technology? Can your work is implemented for 5G technology application?
Ma'am, my apologies, but presently I'm not much aware that whether it could be implemented using 5G technology as well. But surely I'll do my research on this, and definitely I'll get back with an answer to your question.
Thank you so much. Thank you
so much,
Rimji.
ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Any more questions? Okay, thank you, judges. Thank you, Rimjim. Looking
Thank you so
forward
much,
to
ma'am.
implement the OFDM framework commercially also. Now I request the next student on roll, Rohan Chaurasia, to present his work, and the upcoming group will be of Sonam Dorji, Sonam Topjer, Dandalup, Shireen, Shoda Dorji. So this group, please be prepared for the next presentation. Rohan Chaurasia, you can go ahead. Rohan, your screen is visible.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible now.
Good afternoon to all of you present here, respected principal sir, and our in-house panelist and international judges. I am Rohan Chaurasia, and I am currently pursuing BSc Honours Electronics from Sri Aurobindo College. And the design which I have made is design of non-contact auto-controlled door protection system based on body temperature assisted with automatic sanitization. As we all know that the year 2020 was marked with one of the worst healthcare crises the world have ever seen, the COVID-19 pandemic. While researchers and medical professionals worked at lightning speed to provide vaccines to prevent the infection, ConeShield, Covaxin, CoronaVac, Sputnik V, EpiCoronaVac, and Pfizer were even ready and approved in many countries like in Canada, United Kingdom, Russia, and India. The news of new mutation coronavirus come in. As we all know that the WHO has advised the public to clean their hands, often use soap and water or an alcohol-based sanitizer. And in Deccan Herald news report, it is given that in India will take almost 3 years to vaccinate 30 crore people. So as we all know, we have given many months in the lockdown. So we have designed and implement a contactless auto control door protection system, which works in accordance with the visitor body temperature accompanied with the automatic sanitization system using Arduino Uno. In this pandemic like COVID-19, sanitization of hand become a necessity since people are becoming aware towards healthcare and transmission of viruses from person to person is a major issue. To prevent the spreading of contagious disease, we have designed a system which ensures the contaminated person doesn't come in contact with another healthy person by restricting the entry of symptomatic person. So this is the design. 1 minute. So this is the circuit diagram of my design. First of all, it is here we have 3 sensors which will be used at the sanitizer on the sanitizer. So we have IR sensor, temperature sensor, and the HC5401 human infrared sensor. So in the IR sensor, the transmitter pair and the receiver pair. So the transmitter pair will transmit the signal, and it is reflected by the hand, which is placed by the person who wants to enter inside the door will receive by the receiver. So after that, the output pin of the IR sensor will become digitally low, and the TIP32C PNP transistor will become high. As the TIP32C PNP transistor automatically amplifies the signal and DC water pump will come on. After that, the isopropyl alcohol from the container will come out. So this is the working of IR sensor. Simultaneously, we have the PIR sensor. The PIR sensor detects the infrared signal coming from the human body, and its output pin becomes digitally high. And as its output pin becomes digitally high, then the thermometry module will start working, and the SGA and SCL pin of the thermometry module, that is serial data and serial clock pin, will give signal to the Arduino. And after that, the programming adds to in the Arduino and combined with the SGA and SGL signal will give the combined signal to the I2C12C LCD, which is 16:2 LCD display. And as we have seen here, when the body temperature is in the prescribed limit, then the LCD will display acceptable temperature and you can enter in. And if the temperature which is measured of a human body is not in prescribed limit, then there will be display of temperature beyond limit, you cannot enter in. This is the
to conclude fast.
Yeah, this is the flow chart of my working. So as I explained before, and the beneficial impact. So in this current pandemic, the system is 100% beneficial for the people to protect themselves from being deviated. We highly endorse to implement the reported design at the entrance of each and every venue, since it ensures hand hygiene and shields the transfer of viruses from touch. The system uses body temperature for unlocking and locking of door, which means for the sympathetic person, the entry of doors of offices, restaurant, malls, and banquet hall will remain closed with the display of helpline number of the nearby hospital for further medication. For further medication, it is much safer and recommended due to its touchless property, with zero doubt any chances of cross contamination. Many lives can be saved by placing this system globally. Thank you.
Thank you, Rohan. Our experts may ask questions now, if any.
I have one question. See, I have seen many such systems now, because as this COVID pandemic is almost a year old, how is this one different than all the other systems that I see in place right now?
And first of all, the systems which you have studied, I have also studied. In that we do not have sanitizer system at the same time we have door control system. Means in order to get entry inside, we need to sanitize first, because all the three sensors are placed on the sanitizer itself. So when a person wants to enter inside, she should sanitize himself or herself. And the circuit which I have used is very different from one which you have studied, and I have also studied for doing my research paper. That's it.
Okay, so the person has to sanitize first, then you take the temperature?
Yes,
sorry,
yes,
I missed that part.
All the three sensors will be put on the sanitizer itself. One has to sanitize itself in order to get entry inside. Without sanitizing, she could not get inside.
Got it. Thank you for explaining.
Okay.
Any other questions?
If somebody has taken paracetamol, his temperature comes down, then yes, Rohan.
Ma'am, then he can enter inside.
Then your system can't.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Rohan.
Thank you.
Thank you, judges. Thank you, Rohan, for such a useful piece of work during present pandemic conditions. The next group coming up to share the screen space is Sonam Dorji, Sonam Topje, Dandalup, Shireen, Sheda Dorji. I request the team to present. I request the team. I request the technical team to make
Hello.
sure that they are present or not.
I'm present here, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, I'm not able to upload my PPT, ma'am. Is the PPT format not acceptable, ma'am?
Yes, every student is showing PPT except acceptable.
Ma'am,
You can share your screen. You are not visible to us.
I have requested him to turn on his video, but he's declining it.
He's panelist.
I'm trying to share my screen first, ma'am. Can you wait for a little moment?
Yes, please.
Excuse me, madam. Can I do in the next presentation? Currently, I'm not able to upload anything, madam.
Okay.
I will check and present in next, ma'am, next group.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
So the next group is Shireen Dorji, Candle, Sonam Panjor, Shireen Tansing. This group is present?
No,
Present,
madam. I'll be the one presenting, ma'am.
Okay.
So I'll share my slide.
Yes, please go ahead. Start presentation.
Is the slide visible, ma'am?
Yes, your slide is visible.
So good evening. My name is Kelvin Sonam Panjor, and I'm an electronics and communication student in the College of Science and Technology, which is in Pinsiling, Bhutan. So my teammates are Sring Doji and Sring Tenzin, and we've come up with a paper called an image-based crop protection from wild animals. So we've come up with this paper and this idea mainly because in our place in Bhutan, we've seen we have not seen any kind of technology used in the protection of the crops. The only thing we have seen are scarecrows or either farmers equipped with fireworks to drive out the wild animals. So with this design, with this in mind, we have an image-based crop protection from wild animals. So here our objective will be to design an image-based crop protection using the deep learning neural network. So here's an objective. The objectives will be to detect animals and then inform through SMS informs farmers, and so we have and the main objective, which is our social objective, is to help farmers protect their agriculture yield and income. So before explaining how a system works with the flowchart, I'll be talking mainly about the neural network which we have been using. So this is the visualization of the neural network, the convolutional neural network that we are using to train our network, which will be used for detecting animals in the fields. So our neural network consists of an input. Hello.
Yes, you are audible. Please go ahead.
Oh, thank you, ma'am. So our neural network consists of three main parts, which are the input, the feature learning, and a classification part. So the input part mainly consists of lots and lots of images which are taken as data set. And then we have the feature learning part, which mainly consists of the convolutional, ReLU, and the pooling layer, which I'll talk about in the later slide. And we have a classification part, which has flattened, fully connected, and softmax layer. So this is the basic layout of how the convolutional neural network is. So the feature extraction part is the part where the feature extraction part consists of three main layers, which are the convolutional, like I said, which are the convolutional layer, ReLU layer, and pooling layer. So the convolutional layer mainly deals with the extraction of features using filters, for performing operations such as the edge detection and sharpening of the image or blurring, etc. So this is how this is a basic idea of how the convolutional works. A filter, also known as a kernel, is used, which is a matrix of certain different values for different computations, and this matrix will be computed with the values of the pixels of the images sequentially to different parts of the pixel and mapped as an output for performing sharpening or blurring of an image.
I request you to zoom in if you require us to see inside your PPT.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Sorry. So the next layer I'll be talking about in the feature extraction is the ReLU layer. Is this better, ma'am? So the ReLU layer is basically an activation layer which omits the zeros from the convolutional layer and omits the negative values from the convolutional layer and replaces it with zeros. So after that, we have a pooling layer which reduces the dimensions of the images but retains the important information. So this is a basic idea of what the pooling layer does. 4x4 matrix can be mapped out to a 2x2 matrix while retaining the information, important informations. So then we have this. We have tried out in MATLAB and to visualize the different layers in the feature extraction part. So we've in our trained network we have given an image of a puppy and we have tried to visualize how the layers work. These are the convolutional layers, and these are the max pool layer and another convolutional layer. So these are all of different values, values of parameters given in the max pool and the convolutional layer. So after this, all these values, all these pixels of values are given to the classification layer, which will then classified into different classes. Classes here in our case will be different kinds of animals. So I'll move on to the flowchart. Yeah, before this is just a vague idea of how our system works, a basic idea of how our system works. So in the field, we'll have a camera in the field, and after detection or after the camera gives us an image, we'll send it to we'll do a pre-processing, which is the correction of the sizes of the images, and then after that it will be sent to the neural network which we have designed, convolutional neural network which we have trained, and eventually after going through it, it will be classified into different animals. If the neural network detects it as an animal, there will be a notification sent to the farmers. So this is how it works. So our system not only notifies the farmer that there's a animal invading their field, but also specifies them what kind of animal has invaded it, so they can come up with different measures. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Candle. Our expert may ask questions, if any.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So Kendall, that was a good presentation. How do you train the classifier? So you use the CNN?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you build your own CNN, or did you use the available CNNs on the net?
In MATLAB, there were CNNs such as AlexNet, GoogleNet. I think it was called GoogleNet. So we have not used those, but we have built our own, and we have seen architectures, what kind of architectures they have used and what kind of layers they were using. So we have built similar, but we have reduced our layers so that it will be fast. The training will be faster.
So how many layers did you use?
I think a total of 15 layers, including the classification layer.
And how many images did you use for training the CNN?
So right now it isn't much, because we've done for 15 animals. So it just has 100 each, I think, 100 images of in each animal. Just that.
So with 100, your training would not have been that great because CNN requires a huge amount of data set to train.
Sorry. No, ma'am, it wasn't a good amount. So the accuracy was just around 50%. So we are trying to, every day we are trying to improve the, because acquiring the data as images is very hard. So even when the training seems to be slower, it's
100 training images. You need to have a much higher training set.
Yes, ma'am. We're working on it.
Higher than 100. So you got an accuracy of 50% for all the animals?
Yes, for the whole system. Yes, ma'am. We have tried.
All right. Good work.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you, madam.
Any further questions are welcome. Okay. Thank you, judges. Thank you, Candon, and the whole team. And this may be a great help for farmers and to reduce the losses due to the wild animals. So we are moving towards you. Sonam Dorji, are you able to show your screen?
My friend is going to share the screen.
Time?
No, ma'am.
We'll try once, sir.
Okay. So I request the next group to be prepared. Yep. Please be prepared, the group.
Is the slide viewable, ma'am?
Yes, you are visible and audible.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. My name is Sonam Dorji, and I'm pursuing BE Electronic and Communication Engineering in the College of Science and Technology located in Bhutan. So we are in 4 in the group. Myself, Sonam Dorji, and my friend Sheda Dorji, Dindup Singh, and Sonam Topje. 4 of us has been brought up this project. The title of the project here is Mini Phone Network Boosters. So basically what we are trying to develop is trying to develop a mini antenna system which will effectively capture the weak signal around the places, and it will amplify the signal, and it will make the signal into more powerful strength so that it is usable. So let us look into the next slide. So first of all, the aim of our main project, the aim is to design the mini 4G network boosters. So currently we are in Bhutan, and in Bhutan, the places, overall places in Bhutan isn't much developed, and some of the places like city places like Thimphu, Phuntsling and all have a strong internet connectivity of 4G, but then the scattered populated areas, some of the remote areas, they doesn't have the strong connectivity of 4G, and the signal, even though there is some steer signal over the places, but the signal received there is very weak. The available strength there is, which available strength crosses to negative 120 dBm, and the signal gets very poor and it becomes unusable. So our project here is to capture this signal and make it usable for the people over there. So in order to develop the system, we have kept the 3 main objectives. The first objective is to design the amplifier circuit to amplify the weak signal. So this is the main working system of our project. So the amplifier circuit is going to amplify the signal that has been captured by our antenna system. So this signal will be captured, and this will be amplified into a greater strength and more reliable source so that people can use. And number 2, to design high gain antenna which can receive and transmit the signal. So this, in order to receive this signal, which is very weak in strength and becomes unusable, this signal will be captured by high gain antenna. For the project, we have employed Yagi Uda antenna, which has been designed by ourselves. So this Yagi Uda antenna will capture the stray signals available in the places, but which is unusable. So this signal will be captured and sent to the amplification sectors, and the amplification sector, filtration, power amplification, and everything will be taken into block steps, and it will be finally passed down to the patch antenna system, which will be indoor antenna. This indoor antenna will be spreading the signal within a household or in a specific area which will be able to use the system by then. The current internet 4G network uses 1700 megahertz in our country. So this system, overall system, have been designed to work for the 1700 megahertz. Number three objective. The objective number 3 is to improve the stability of communication or in the required places. So the places where there are scattered household and the base station installation of large base station is not possible. So this system will be solving such issue, and communication connectivity of the internet and overall systems over that places will be improved and communications becomes possible. So next slide. So this slide overall discuss about the problem statement, like how we have come to this idea. So the number one problem statement was weak signal coverage to few places due to geographical condition and high-rise man-made structures. So Bhutan being a mountainous country, there are many high hills and places. Though some of the places are very plain, but even the plain places include man-made high structure buildings and the high hills, which obstruct the signal strength and decreases the signal strength to much weaker point. Even though the base station is able to send a high powerful signal, this high hills and high man-made structures reduces the signal strength and makes the signal strength unusable. According to a research paper, every 10 centimeter thickness of wall is reducing the signal by -6 dBm. So in urban areas, the signal is getting reduced and reduced due to traveling through the high thick walls, and some of the places where some of the household which lies in nooks and corners of the cities does not receive, though they receive the signal, it becomes very weak and unusable. So it can solve this issue too. And number two, high cost for installation of base station for fewer scattered community. So installation of base station in city area is much effective and cost effective also, because they can generate a high revenue profit by installation of base station because there would be many users. But for places with very few users, the installation of base station will be of huge loss because they cannot generate much profit for such places. So such mini antenna system can be employed there, and it would be cost effective. And number three, weak signal reception to urban places due to high-rise buildings causing severe diffraction losses. That is no direct line of sight between transmitter and receiver, as we have already discussed in the first point. Due to the high-rise building, there is no direct line of sights, so the signal becomes weaker and weaker as it approaches the receiver from the transmitter. So let's go to
I request please stick to the time.
Yes, ma'am. These are the some of the statistical data we have taken for a place in our country. So red marks denotes the weak signal, and green are very good signal. So this red signal can be captured by our system and amplified and used. So next slide. In the next slide, we can see there are many places where there are red dots. So these red dots are the signal of 4G, but it is unusable because it has become weak. So the next we have methodology. So for methodology, we have used CST Studio Suite to design the antenna system, and for the design of amplification circuit and power amplifier, we have used the ORCAD, and for filter design and also we have been using the ORCAD capture. And the overall block diagram, this is the overall methodology how we have carried out the project. So now let's look into the block diagram. So in the block diagram, we have seen, as we have stated, that the Yagi-Uda antenna we have seen there will capture the signal, and the duplex filter will filter out any unwanted signal that has been captured by the Yagi-Uda antenna, and it will be passed into the low noise amplification circuit, in which the signal strength will be boosted, and even the small signal noise which are there will be boosted. And due to the boosting of the noises, the another filter will be clearing out, the bandpass filter will be clearing out this such noises, and only the wanted band of frequency will be passed. So after passing through this system, the power amplification will amplify the power of the signal, and it becomes of much greater strength. And finally, the duplex filter will again clarify any noises present in the signal, so it becomes pure. And after that, it will be passed down to the indoor antenna, that is patch antenna, which will be spreading the signal into the household or designated area. next slide. So the result analysis. So after analyzing the result that is taken from the design of the antenna and the ORCID simulation, we optimize the system and we make it much better so that it can receive weaker signal and more. So the overall system has many technical aspects, but with this limited time frame, I'm just giving an overall summary of how this system has worked. So we have even the method work plan, how we have taken the work plan, and finally the references. That's all, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharin Dorji. Our experts may ask questions, if any.
I have one question. It appears that you have a working model. Is that correct? You have done some experiments, correct?
Ma'am, we haven't developed the working model totally, ma'am, but we are currently developing the process, ma'am, and we have finished developing the outdoor antenna, the LNA, and the filter, ma'am. Now we are going to develop the power amplifier and the patch antenna, ma'am. And overall, after developing all the system individually, we are going to implement and attach it in a one go, ma'am, and see the results. If it
Okay,
is.
so then I have one question. There are many signal boosters available. So
Yes,
what's so new about this one? What is the difference here? Are you planning on, let's say, lowering the latency, or what exactly is the aim here?
Yes, ma'am. Before developing this system, as for our country, the country being a very mountainous area and all, the signal reception for some of the places, the signal reception is not good with the currently available repeater system in the market, ma'am. Because for our system, the Yaguda antenna system can be placed in even with long transmission line. This can be placed in a hilly area like a top hill area, and where there will be where there it can receive a signal much better. So, but then the amplification circuit can be placed within a household. That is distance between the antenna and even the amplifier circuit can be long, and the capturing will be much better, ma'am. Like according to defining our geographical region in our country, ma'am, we are trying to design it in our own, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, please? Okay, thank you, judges.
Thank you.
Sharin Dorji and the whole team. This thought may be a great help for the areas in which network is not much better. So last but not the least, I would like to call the next group Yap Kong Song, Tang Yong Fang, Nurul Huda Abrahman, and Zulfakar Asper. I request the team to present their work. Technical team, please confirm if they are present here. Any one of them present here. Yap Kong Soon.
I think Yap Kong Soon was there, but right now I'm unable to find him in the list.
One of his team member was present. I just promoted him to panelist, but I guess he's left or what? Just let me find him.
Tang Bong Fang.
It was Toon was present.
Tang Yong Fang is there. He's a panelist.
Yes.
I can ask him to unmute.
He's not responding. I'm asking him to respond or turn on his video, but he's not responding. Tong Yong Fang.
Shall I move towards the next?
Anita, I think this is the last one.
Yes, but if he is not present or we cannot contact him, then we can call another one, the 16th one. 16th number in the list.
I think you should call the 16th one.
So on the next group, please, I request the next group to present their work. Chirag Bhardwaj and Anurag Gangu. Chirag Bhardwaj, Anurag Daru.
I think they have left.
Anurag Garud is there.
Okay.
Yes, Anurag, now you can respond.
Anurag, can you hear us?
He's also left, I guess.
Chirag Bhardwaj and Anurag.
Can't find Chirag in the list.
Shall I move to the next on the list? Seventeenth. Seventeenth in the list is are you there, Anurag?
Yes, sir. I've asked them. Yes, Anurag is here. He's responding. Anurag, can you please turn on your video?
Can you spotlight him?
Unless he does not turn on his video, we cannot spotlight him. I'm asking him to start his video.
I accepted it, but maybe my camera is broken.
Okay. Oh, he's saying his camera is broken, so.
So should I present my screen?
Yes, Anurag, you can present. Yes, Anurag, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
His voice is not clear.
My voice isn't clear.
Something.
Hello. Hello.
The voice is not audible.
His voice is not clear.
My voice isn't clear.
There is some disturbance.
Okay, so let me change my earphone. Sorry for the inconvenience.
Use your earphone and try.
Is it audible now?
Yes, Anurag.
Okay.
But you need to present your screen, yes. Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay. A very warm greeting to all the faculty. My name is Anurag Garud. Me and my friend Chirag Bhardwaj are doing some work on Li-Fi under the guidance of Dr. Geeta Mongia. Here is the presentation of our topic, the optimization of various parameters for high efficiency light fertility. This presentation has an introduction of Li-Fi technology and also optimizing its performance parameter, that is different height and different incident angle. Li-Fi is known as light fidelity, is a basic VLC, visual light communication, that use light emitting diode LEDs to fully network wireless system. Although we already have wireless systems such as Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, but Li-Fi is better in many ways. Li-Fi is evolved to overcome the rate of speed in Wi-Fi. While using Li-Fi, the rate of speed can reach up to 14 GB per second. Li-Fi technology consists of LED lamp as the media transmitter and the photodetector as the receiver of the transmitted data. Lamp driver is needed to make LED working properly, while the amplification and processing are responsible to manage the signal that comes from the photodetector. This is the room setup and the LED placement. We use 4 LED as one and in the center of the room to see how the power density vary in all over the room. We use square base room for better understanding. And as you can see, we let the incident angle from the horizontal axis, not the vertical axis. We made a table showing all the simulation parameters that we used in our room setup, and we were able to obtain the 3D power distribution curve at receiver end by using a software simulation. And we also able to receive the 2D power density curve as well as sound to noise ratio. Here's the plot of 3D power density curve at 0.5 meter height and 1 meter height. And this is the plot of received 3D power density curve at 2 meter and 3 meter height. And this is the plot of received 3D power density curve at 4 meter and 5 meter height. As we can easily see, the peak power density get decreased as the height increase, as shown in the plot in last 3 slides. Along with the curves start expanding at first and into the each and every corner of the room. Then it starts compressing with lower power density. Here is the plot of 3D power density curve at 10 degree and 20 degree incident angle. This is the plot of 3D power density curve at 30 degree and 40 degree incident angle. This is the plot of 3D power density curve at 50 degree and 60 degree incident angle. This is the received 3D power density curve at 70 degree and 80 degree incident angle. We can easily see the peak power density get decreased as the incident angle increase, as shown in the last 4 slides. Along with that, the curve start compressing with lower power density and focus only small base area with lower power density. We generated multiple plot with a point difference value. We were able to obtain the 2D power density curve as well as the sound to noise ratio, which will amplify our value and which will provide us the data on which how can we attain the maximum and the minimum, on which we can attain the maximum beneficial input data. The best reason we get for the Li-Fi system work is the 33.5 degree incident angle and 3.15 meter height. These are few of the many beneficial of Li-Fi over any other wireless system, like capacity, efficiency, availability, and security, and high data transfer speed. Although these are very valuable impact for the future references. These were the references which were very helpful for us. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Anurag Garud. The house is now open for judges to ask questions, if any.
Sure.
I have one, Anurag, one question for you.
No,
you mentioned the advantages. What are the some
Yes,
of what are some of the disadvantages of Li-Fi?
Ma'am, we have only few disadvantages, like the connectivity issue. If we are using one light and we reach its limit and we are entering in a different room, if the light exists only in one room and we want to our device to be a portable and we are moving in our doorway, so we need some amplification factor which will allow our device to connectly as fast as possible. This were the point difference. This was the minor con of this project. If we want to travel in a room, then we need to put our array of a light in a row and allow our device to connect as fast as possible, so the connectivity issue doesn't bother.
I have one related question too. Excuse me. Do you think that Li-Fi is progressing as fast as it should be? When I say progressing, that means people are willing to adopt this technology.
Right now, not ma'am, but one day everyone will adapt it, ma'am, because it is light is easily available in everyone's room, but it is expensive now. Me and my friends are also doing to transfer some audio signals, as one of my friends succeeded to. So when all this will be easily available, then everyone will go with Li-Fi. I can assure this.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions?
One question from my side.
Yeah.
Yes. Does the color of the LED has an effect?
Ma'am, white color LED.
Okay, so you have only studied or done practically also?
Ma'am, we have studied and we are planning to do it practically also, as the lockdown has appeared, but we will be doing the practical in our college also under the guidance of our faculty.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Anurag.
Sure, ma'am.
Thank you, judges. Thank you, Anurag Garud and the whole team. This
Chirag Bhardwaj, ma'am.
Sorry?
Ma'am, the other team member name is Chirag Bhardwaj.
Yes, and Chirag Bhardwaj. Yes. I thank you to both of you. And this optimization may be beneficial in sci-fi technology. So
Yes,
thank
ma'am.
you, judges and dear students. This is all for paper presentation session. And now I would like to turn it over to you, Dr. Mamta Sharma.
Thank you, Dr. Anita, for the wonderful session of paper presentation. All the students have done a remarkable work. Let's hear more from our esteemed judges who will be deciding top 3 presentations. We are grateful to all the judges who have spared precious time from their busy schedule and are here in this international workshop to review and choose top 3 papers. I request Dr. R.P. Shrishwa to share his view on these presentations. Dr. R.P. Risheshwar. Do we have R.P. Risheshwar?
Sir was here only, but maybe due to connection he might have left or what. Right now he's not there in the list.
Okay. Dr. Shobna Chandra. I request Dr. Shobna Chandra to share her views on these presentations. I think ma'am is not here.
Ma'am is here. Ma'am is here.
Okay. Okay.
So no, for me to give my views, I think will not be fair right now, because some of the presentations, yes, I have missed out. So whatever I heard was good, and good to see promising young, researchers here and contributing so well. So that has been good. I've liked whatever I've heard so far. And I would in fact like my colleague, Dr. Vandana, to in fact share, because I think she's been here and been in the session since the beginning. So I think it will be fair that she comments. So Vandana, please go ahead.
So I speak for Shobna and myself together.
Okay, sure, go ahead.
Respected principal sir, esteemed guests, judges, colleagues, and students. That's for me and Shobna, we must applaud the very novel and innovative activity, the International Undergraduate Students Conference. And I must express that we feel so fortunate to have a visionary principal inspiring and encouraging us to reach for the skies. Thank you, Vipin sir. There have been many interesting and useful presentations in this interactive session. My hearty congratulations to our teacher in charge, Dr. Manju Pruthi, for the successful culmination of this unique conference. It's the first of its kind that I have attended. Congratulations to all the student participants for doing some fantastic work. It is not easy for me to select top 3. In fact, if you see my slip, it has a lot of cuttings, because everybody is reaching 90%, 80%, 90%. So I'll have to really do some great homework to be able to select the top 3. And I really think that all 15 of you are ready for getting publications in the likes of IEEE, Springer, Elsevier. And I'm hoping to see your names very soon in those journals. Just a few tips for you. Now, you must look at what was accepted last year. So if you're presenting in 21, you should do your literature survey up to 2020. So the talks from conferences which are held previous years, they're kind of a cheat sheet for you. You will know what all has already been done and presented. And that will also give you a cue as to what the organizers are interested in. So do not repeat topics or content when you are presenting a paper in a conference. Read your submission forms very, very carefully. If there are multiple pages, click through and pull out all the questions that you may have to answer. So get all your answers ready well in time. The third thing is give the organizers what they want. If they want security, talk only about security. If they want to talk about antennas, talk only about antennas. If it's in the area of machine learning, then please stick to what the organizers are looking for. And last but not the least, submit early. Always submit early. You have a higher chance of getting accepted if you have submitted well before time. The last thing, you got turned out. This is for the rest of you. For the rest of the 26 students. So if you got turned down, then what? If your proposal was denied, take heart. At big events, this is the most likely outcome. And if you do not get any feedback for being turned down, you may consider reaching out to the organizers to ask for feedback. Be polite, but feedback from conference organizers is like gold. If you listen to that feedback, you will definitely have the next publication rolling. I wish you all good luck in your academic pursuits and in life too. I hope you all take away with you learnings and lasting memories from this experience, which was organized by Shri Aurobindo College. Thank you, team. You've put in wonderful efforts, and it was a very, very enriching session. Thank you so much.
I would also like to say one more thing to our, the judges, the international judges, because their time zone is not suiting them at this time, and they, Rachna has been around. Thanks so much for being so cooperative. I think we could not have had better cooperation from our international judges. So one thing I would like to say.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Rachna.
Mamta ma'am, unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you, Rinki. We're thankful to Dr. Rachna and Dr. CB for being here in the late hours. I request Dr. PP Singh to share the screen and give his views on the presentations. Over to you, sir, Dr. PP Singh.
I think you need
yourself, sir, unmute yourself.
I would like to thank organizer for giving their 100% to this conference, and I would like to thank our principal sir also for encouragement to our department, and this international experts, CB. I know CB, he was our colleague associated with Dr. R.S. Gupta. So I am, after seeing him on the screen after a long time, I hope he will be doing better. The conference was very good, though I joined late, and I hope that the judges have decided very well that who has done their performance best in this paper. Whatever I can do, I have done to a little bit. So please go ahead and select the best who have done here their presentation. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
I request Dr. CB to give his views on these presentations. Dr. Rachna.
Well, what needed to be said, I think Dr. Vandana has already said it. I just want to say that these projects have really highlighted that innovation is driven by necessity. I also just want to nudge a little bit and would like to say to all the students that please work on developing a clear vision and objectives, because if the vision and objectives are clear, solutions will follow. And I wish you again all good luck in your future endeavors. And thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all the esteemed judges for your enlightenment and insight. Your guidance and encouragement to the students, this will make them do better. Thank you once again for your precious time and valuable advice. We recognize the efforts of all the 43 participants from different parts of the world in this international conference. Shri Aurobindo College is awarding the certificates of participation to all the 43 participants. Heartiest congratulations to all of you. So the participants are requested to fill the Google form provided in the chat box for smooth certificate distribution. I know everyone must be excited to know about the top 3 winners of today's Iconics paper presentation. Indeed, it's difficult to decide at that moment. So all our international and in-house panel of judges will decide together and declare the result. The result of top 3 presentations will be notified via email and WhatsApp within a week. We come to the end of our international conference with a vote of thanks by Ms. Suryanshi, a member of our Electronic Society. Over to you, Ms. Suryanshi.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. I'm Suryanshi, creative designer of Electronic Q, Electronic Society of Sri Aurobindo College, University of Delhi. It's an honor to deliver vote of thanks for Iconics UG, International Conference for Undergraduate Students of Electronics, organized by Department of Electronics, Sri Aurobindo College, University of Delhi, India. On behalf of my college, I would like to thank our principal, Dr. Vipin Kumar Agarwal, for his encouragement and constant support to organize this conference at an international level. Our special thanks to our chief guest, Shri Manoj Bhalla, for giving us deep insights both into the present and the future. We will definitely follow your example and guiding principles. A million thanks to Shri Anil Bhatia for taking out his invaluable time for encouraging us and guiding us in the right direction. I must mention a deep sense of appreciation to Dr. Manju Pruthi, the convener of Iconics and teacher in charge of Department of Electronics, Sri Aurobindo College. I extend my generous thanks to our international expert, Dr. Rachana Sood, Senior Software Developer from California, USA, and Dr. Sibit Ruthiel, Director of Engineering from California, USA. I also want to thank Dr. R.P. Richeshwar, Ms. Shobna Chandra, Dr. Vanna Bhalla, and Dr. P.P. Singh for being our in-house judges of Iconics UG. All the judges have done a wonderful job and selected the best papers as we have already seen. I want to extend my generous thanks to our teachers, Mr. Avnish Kumar, Dr. Mamta Sharma, Dr. Rinki Sharma, Dr. Anita Kumari for their excellent mentorship and inspiration. Now to all our innovative participants, thank you so much for your participation in Iconics UG. We are truly delighted to have you all in this kind of event, and our principal for embracing the technology of Zoom platform and allowing us to use the same for this event. In the end, I would like to thank all the student coordinators and volunteers from Sri Aurobindo College Iconics team for their exuberance and active support. So I once again thank you all and hope to see you around in our upcoming events too. Thank you so much. Over to you, Mamta ma'am.
Suryanshi, your volume. You are not audible.
Thank you, Suryanshi.
It's audible.
Yeah, it was audible. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Not audible to you, sorry.
We conclude our international conference. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mamta, we can take one screenshot with everybody's cameras on.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Yes. We request all the students who have participated to turn on their videos so that we can take photos. Suryanshi, I hope you're taking photos better.
Thank you, Ola.
Yes, sir.
So Rimjim Gupta, your camera, please switch on your camera. Sonam, Dorji, Anurag. Anurag, please switch on your camera.
His camera was broken, I think.
Oh, yes, he mentioned.
Sheda? Yeah, you are.
Where is CB? Is he available?
I think Rachana is there.
Yeah, Rachana ma'am is
Okay, okay.
I think we have two screens, no?
CB left?
it's early morning for them, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know
Very
that
early. I think
problem is there
Rachna
for
hasn't
them.
slept only, I guess.
Rachna, we are so sorry to keep you awake.
Yeah, she's been awake, I'm sure.
Thank you so
That's
much.
okay. I have really, really enjoyed this. It's been ages, since I have looked at papers. I'm in totally different field nowadays. So
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Rachna. Thank you so much.
thank you. Thank you for, making me part of this and this experience. Really, really.
And
Thanks.
so nice to see you.
Yeah.
It's been a long while.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Rachana,
Same here. Same here.
I can recognize you from now.
Yeah, you haven't changed much.
Yes,
We have all
change is there.
aged.
I can recognize CV very well.
CB, I missed him.
Now I can
missed,
recognize Rachana
him,
also.
I think.
Yeah, even I can recognize you now, but from your name, I couldn't, but from your face, yes.
Yes.
So can I, Shobna ji, I can also recognize you. Yes.
No need to say G, you can. So good.
We'll take your leave. Thank you so much for making us a part of this, Manju.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Okay, bye.
Thank you again.
Okay,
Hey,
bye.
thanks, Manju. Anytime. Okay, bye bye.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so I end this one. So, okay, everyone has left, I guess.
Okay, bye bye, Anish.
Okay, bye bye, sir.
Thank you, Vardhan. Thank you, Shobana. Thank you, Vandana.
Thank you, sir.
Good show.
Thank you, Mamta.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Manjuma.
Thank you,
Okay,
everyone.
ma'am.
Anita, thank you so much.
Okay,
Thank you,
goodbye, everyone.
students, for
Anita,
participating.
Rinki, Manju madam, namaste.
Thank you.
Namaste.
These are some of
मैं
the
लेट
photos
आया
you
I
for
have
coming.
taken
चाहता
for
हूँ.
today.
Thank you,
हमारा
Dr.
डिपार्टमेंट ही रह
Risheshwar.
गया क्या? अभी और नहीं है सब.
Okay, so I'll end this webinar. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Final goodbye to everyone. Okay, thank you.
Okay, goodbye to everyone.
Okay,
Thank you to
bye-bye.
everyone.